Welcome to Saturday Night Vibe, the aggressive news show with Les BS3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Tracy Carson, along with Theas, along with Anna Hart. You can see the title. I am combining both shows. We're going to get into some serious topics, and then we're going to chill out for the rest of the night, including one of my favorite YouTube contributors, I guess, who basically was honest right in the middle of one of his videos. It's a cool video. Anna I already told Anna what it was, but you'll see what I mean when you watch it. But the series videos is the reason I'm even bringing this up is because one of the stories have been, of course, going under the radar. Of course, even as we're discussing this now. Keep in mind that the story that we're going to talk about happened months ago, not just recently, but months ago. The second story that we're going to discuss is I don't even want to make light of it. I don't want to do that because it's as much as I want to say F around and find out, and you did F around and find out, I still just don't want to give that much gas to this situation for it to get a whole lot worse. And I just really do think it would. But we'll get into both stories tonight. Tracy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic since I got my air conditioner. Oh gosh.
Yes. Yes. It's a magical moment when you get that. Theus,
Doing all right, man. Doing all right
you got your glasses on. Cool.
for now.
For now. Anna?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, just having a slow day.
All right. Let's see what we got here. If you catch up after the live show, please leave a comment. Extra appreciating for support on Patreon. Apologies if this shows several times for anyone or no times. Please hit that like button. We have picked up 7 new subscribers since last week. So word is getting out. I truly appreciate it. Hit those likes. I put out several videos. Uh,
Down there.
Say again.
I think it's down there. I was just saying the like.
Yes, it's right down there. Just
Well,
you got to move your mouse very much. It's just touch it real quick. And if you like it, boop, I mean, just hit it one time. Um, that's what she said. Hey,
Hey Parker.
got in right at the beginning. Hey, Parker.
oh,
Parker, you are Mafia video of the week.
ooh,
And to be totally honest with you, I have to play it because it's so funny. It is so cringy, but it's so sexual. So Tracy, I did warn you in advance.
And I can only one got the warning.
Yeah, because you know why.
I really don't. That's what I'm asking.
But it is so
the
sexual
rest
that
of us are a little freaky.
yeah.
Oh
But
well, see if you had just said what Anna said, I would have got it.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the reason. But it's so bad that Anna, I may have to rethink about your video calls. The ending to your video.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right.
But let's see.
Apologies. I will get that to people.
Oh yeah.
Let me write a note.
Oh no. So without further ado, let's get this party started. So again, keep in mind that this story has gone on under the radar. It was independent media who discovered this video. I mean, discovered this story, and this happened months ago, not last week or not even the week before. This happened months ago. So this is why I keep constantly telling people, please support independent media, because these stories keep going up under the radar and nobody knows what's going on. So as one of those independent medias, let me go ahead and report about a man who died right after prison. I mean, not right after jail, sorry. After being jailed. He bailed out, but he died because during that whole time he was in jail, he kept saying constantly, I need my heart medication, because he had a heart transplant. The medication was to prevent his body from rejecting a new heart. He said it he said it before he was arrested. He said it while he was arrested. He said it while he was in jail. He said it during the arraignment at the jail, at the courthouse. He said it several times, and they still did not give him his medicine. 2 days after he got out of jail, he died. So let's go ahead and get a little more background into this story.
Yeah, Jeannie, and I called the Berry family's lawyer and asked him who they're going to be suing here, and he said, in a word, everyone. You know, the Berry children, they're still grieving quite a bit. They told me it's hard for them to watch the body cam video back, and they're just hoping that if anything can come from this, it'll hopefully bring some attention to inmate health care, coming from their dad's death.
I take rejection medicine for my heart transplant.
Okay.
I can't miss no doses.
Dexter Berry's children say their father was diligent about taking his heart medications. His new heart wasn't something he took for granted. He was diagnosed with congestive heart failure in 2008 and waited 12 years to get a new heart.
When I say like hurdles, he went through a lot just to get where he was.
Police arrived at Berry's apartment on a Friday in November after his neighbor called. Berry and his neighbor had been arguing about a Wi-Fi plan they shared. Berry threatened to beat him up if he didn't stop using it.
It's just going to be to separate y'all for a cool-off period.
Berry was arrested on a simple assault charge for threatening violence.
You taking me to jail and me missing my medicine, risking me.
So listen, man.
Listen
to me real quick.
Body camera video shows Berry told the arresting officer several times he needed his heart medication. Court documents show Berry also told the judge during his court appearance he needed the meds. Berry's son Dexter Jr. says his father didn't have anyone's number memorized, so he didn't even know about his father's arrest until after he bonded out 2 days later.
When I spoke to him Monday, he told me to run down, and I can hear it in his voice that he wasn't sounding like himself.
3 days later, Berry died from cardiac arrest.
I just told you I gotta take my medicine.
Berry's children have contacted a lawyer, hoping something can be done to stop other families from going through the same thing.
And that was all my father lived for. Hey, I gotta take my pills so I can see my grandkids, so I can see my kids, I don't want to die. I want to see my family. And he sucked it up and took 20-something plus pills a day.
I did reach out to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office about this. They responded quickly to me, but they did tell me that they weren't able to comment on Berry's case because of the possible lawsuit.
So let me put another more fuel to the fire. Took this man 12 years. The only reason he even moved to Jacksonville was to be closer to the Mayo Clinic so he could take care of himself. 12 years it took for him to get his new heart. And I don't know how many of y'all know about this or not. It ain't easy getting a heart transplant, kidney, lung, anything.
You know what it's like to sit there and hope somebody dies? And that's just you?
And this man waited 12 years to get it, to be completely wiped out within days. All because of, I don't care where you want to put this in, racism, bigotry, pure neglect, inhumanity. I don't care what category you want to put this situation in. It should not have happened. This man should not even been arrested. I know. Communicating a threat. I get that. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Who gets
I'm gonna beat you up.
Who gets
I'm not sure.
I was communicating a threat. Who gets arrested for that these days? Seriously, I'm being dead serious.
Apparently,
nobody gets arrested for that. for just saying it.
Marlon, that's where you need to stop right there.
We
Because
just
you ran down the litany that everybody would love to pretend, right? I don't care if it's racism, bigotry, neglect, indifference, blah 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 blah.
with all of them.
You already know, if not for one particular piece, all of this would have been avoided. So where I would start is where you were just at. Who else besides a black or a brown man, to my knowledge, would have been arrested for threatening to beat up the person who's stealing his internet?
Thank you. For real.
Okay? So right there, hard stop. Hard stop. Now, because that's where you have to start looking at all your factors, right? Because if he wasn't arrested, none of this would have occurred. Then you put him in there, and he's obviously, if he told the officer, he told the people at the booking, he told the people at the jail, right? So that means for days, this man is without medication despite protestations. Had he not been a black man, they would have at least listened to him. If that had been a white woman, if that had just been a woman, well, I don't know. If that had been a white woman,
Yeah, I was gonna say no.
Yeah.
never would have been arrested, right? So I get it that everybody, and I'm not saying this about you, but everyone wants to look past race, and I am the first to say that everything is not racism. Some things are just racial, right? This, I would say, is racism because it was the indifference and the cruelty and the hard-heartedness to not even hear what this person is saying to you about his medical condition when he is not a violent threat. He is not a violent offender. Right now, you're only dealing with a verbal situation, and yet you let it roll this way. Now, what happens from there, I think, then all those other ones can come in, right? Let's say he is white and they did this. Then what happened to him from the moment he was put in that police car to when he ultimately died, this criminal justice system would do it to any and everyone because it doesn't see people as people once you enter that system.
Right. It is something that should never had occurred. And I'm going back, I'm going with what Thea said. It shouldn't have got to this point. It never should have gotten to this point. The man got cussed out because you stealing his Wi-Fi. I don't blame you. I don't want you stealing my Wi-Fi either. It's my damn Wi-Fi. I'm paying for it. We had a verbal agreement. Somewhere along the line, you broke that agreement. I'm cussing you out because you want to keep using free Wi-Fi. I'm cussing you out. You use my Wi-Fi again, I'm going to beat your butt.
Now, the proper response is change your password.
Well, yeah.
But obviously we were past that point. Or you might not know your password because your grandchildren or somebody else might have set it up for you or something.
Yeah. but let's see what everybody.
We got to stop jumping to violence or threats of violence too soon. We just got to stop that, especially in current environment. You don't need to be displaying a threat with nobody. You just need to have already made your decision that if somebody puts a threat towards you, what you gonna do? Like, what is your reaction to violence? You make that decision. But don't go threatening nobody because people are wild out here right now. They will kill you over a parking spot, your shoe untied.
I have to start reading this out because I've been getting a whole bunch of emails lately, and it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad, but people have been saying, "I listen to your show, but I'm not looking. I'm just listening to it." So it messes me up when there's comments and all I hear us saying is, "Yeah, okay," and they're like, "What are you saying?" So forgive me. I'm sorry, but I'll try to read everybody's comments so for the people who's listening they can understand where we're going. Mama Hart, I just do not understand the inhumanity. I don't. I every time and that's one of those things where every time I get, what's the word, Theas, when you get just used to it or whatever?
Oh, desensitized?
Desensitized to it. humanity will up it up to the point where you just have to get right back into it again. It's real hard to
Yeah.
get desensitized to stuff when it's just like, oh, you're used to this. Let me find a worse way.
I think a way that we can look at things like this, and it's going to be a matter of individual perspective and discipline, but I'm not desensitized to it. I process it a different way. I know what I can and I can't handle, right? So I don't ever watch black snuff films where the police are killing my brothers and sisters in the street. But I know what the culture of this country is. I know the history of this country. I know the current events in this country. I know the moral decay of this country. I am personally on a war footing. So I feel that I am personally at war with certain elements of society. So I view things really kind of like when this gentleman was, for lack of a better way of putting it, this is another soldier that was killed in the line of duty. He didn't mean to be part of this struggle. He was just living his life. This man had gotten to be old. He had managed to get a transplant. This man was a retired veteran. Okay, he's a black man that had made it almost to the end, and then you brought the end closer because of the indifference of the system. But that's a soldier gone. And when you lose a soldier and you're in a battle, you can't stop the fight to mourn that guy, right? You mourn your brother, but you continue fighting. You ain't got no time to stop. Your enemy is trying to stack more of your side's bodies. So you need to be more focused on the fight than what you just lost. And that's where I am right now. I'm so sick of seeing young soldiers, old soldiers, middle soldiers taken, and they're not even trying to hurt you. They're just trying to live their life, But it's disgusting. And I'm gonna say this because I know this is our serious moment. Like I told somebody, I don't remember, I think it was my other brother. I was like, look, man, white America as a whole, America, because all the levers of power are in the hands of white America, has ungodly amount of power. This is a country, the United States of America, topples governments, topples countries. Everybody around the world is scared of them. They dictate the financial systems of the entire globe. Anything America wants to change, stop, fix, or make new, it can do it. So the fact that we are still wrestling with the color divide at this stage is because that is what America has chosen to be its status quo, and it's okay with it.
Oh my freaking God! This disturb was over a Wi-Fi
Dispute.
Thank you. I'm so out of it. Oh my freaking God! This dispute was over a Wi-Fi connection. I haven't heard that part. Although even if it was a more serious dispute, people should still get their medicine and their life when their life depends on it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to go, yeah, okay, yeah. Because everything that I've said, I've already said. Anything that I say from this point will be repeating. Yes. The man was in there for what, 4 days? Really?
Yeah, I'll do you one better. Remember, we had a talk a while back. I don't remember what the situation was, but it was someone going to prison, and we were like, yeah, the prison will get them. They'll get them. And I said, hey, these are still human beings, and we don't outsource our brutality to somebody just because they're in prison. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was saying, just because someone is in jail, just because someone's in prison, I don't care if they're a mass murderer. You arrested them, which means you put them in the system, which means you are now responsible for their general welfare. That means you could have somebody like who went I'm gonna use that old nasty. I wish he was already under the dirt, Dylan Roof. That dude. I wish nothing but bad things for him. But the fact is, he went to prison. They locked him up. So that means if he's on medication, you should make sure he gets his medication.
Yes.
His punishment was time. His punishment is isolation. His punishment is not a slow death from medication withdrawal. You know, why are we so brutal here? Why do we have such a bloodlust? Why do we look at someone who didn't walk the line to stay in quote unquote society and then pretend like they're no longer human and we don't care? It's just disgusting.
Hello, Marlon,
Mickey.
Tracy, Theas, and Anna. Hello, Mickey. Yeah, good point, Theas. The original Red shows how that works exactly. Yeah, I apologize. I hate to be the one who tried to do the what's the word, other side or whatever. There's two sides to the story when it really just isn't.
No, your points were valid, bro.
That.
I was saying after the arrest, everything you said 100% valid. I was not making that distinction.
I just don't want. I've been in this game, this war for so long. I can just see these things coming up. I just always want to hit it off. So I can sit there. We can all sit there and say this is racism at its finest. This is the reason he was arrested, because he was a black man arguing with a white man. Period. But I can see the other people. Yeah, Mickey. Yeah. I was playing devil's advocate. So he shouldn't. He was arrested because he was threatening. He shouldn't have did this. He shouldn't have said that. That doesn't mean it was racism. That just means that it was bigotry.
But it doesn't
mean it was bigotry.
That just means
it was police oversight or you know, it's.
I think that's why the fight gets so muddled, because everyone really just want to fight from their.
That's the point of them doing it.
But I mean, even our side, bro. Even our side, we like to fight from a grievance position. My thing is this: the gentleman was arrested. I don't think that was racist. Okay, that was racial, meaning that for somebody else, you might have just, hey, you need to calm this down. If I have to come back out here, somebody's going downtown. We're not going to play this game. You consider yourself warned, right? That's what they do a lot of times in domestic violence disputes and civil disputes. They go out and they say, hey, can you guys settle down and separate yourselves? If you cannot, somebody has to come with me, right? That's how they normally come at it on a more general basis. What makes this racial is they were like, we're just gonna go ahead and take him, right? Like, but what was it about this older man that means you had to take him? That's where I think race factors in, but I still wouldn't say racist. Once it became racist to me once that bias mixed with the power. And that was when that judge, it's in the record where he said it, and the judge ignored it. The judge could have said, you make sure he gets his medication, right? He went to the jail. Who's ever over the jail, if it's a jail, it's probably the sheriff. So the sheriff should have been notified. The medical staff should have been notified. Everybody just looked at him as just another inmate. And he wasn't even guilty of anything yet. He was being held. So he's not even a convict at this point. You know,
this man is saying this in the car. This man is saying this at the arraignment. You know damn well he said it basically every day of every minute of every day while he's in jail. Hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? When he wakes up, hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? When they go to lunch, breakfast, hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? When we go to lunch, hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? When we go to dinner, hey, when I'm gonna get my medicine? When they go out to exercise, hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? Right before it's time to go to bed. Hey, when am I gonna get my medicine? So
You know what this makes me think of? Remember during COVID, there was a black woman. She was a doctor, a medical doctor, and she was insisting on a certain level of care. She was saying, "This hurts. This is my concern. I can't breathe." She was doing all the things. She was advocating for herself. But because they thought that she was being too aggressive and they didn't like her attitude, they didn't take her seriously. And then she ends up dying, begging for her own life. Then we look at that's a medical situation. This was just a normal civil situation. Then we look at George Floyd. He's telling you, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." But you don't believe that when we say that we're in pain, that we're actually in pain. You swear that we can take more pain than we can, and we're just making things up to get better treatment. You only do that, America, to us, and you've been doing it since slavery. It's baked in. It's baked into our education, our medical, our police situations, our prison situations. The tapes run long. That somehow we are some kind of superhuman creatures that we don't hurt the same. And that's the part I think filters back into this brother. That's what it made me think of just then.
and I'm so glad, and I'm going ahead and end it right here. I'm so glad the videotape got out. Sorry,
Yes.
but not sorry, because I guarantee you that would
They
have
would
been
have
your
made it up.
first.
We
That
didn't
would
do
have been
anything.
your first freaking defense. He
He-
never said anything.
He didn't say a word.
He ain't never said anything about medicine. I have no idea. Where's the body cam? Well, we have to go through the body cam for the next 2 years so we can take a look. Yeah. You know how y'all do it. What's
Hey,
up,
D.
D? What's up, D? Incarceration is a multi-billion-dollar business where I tax funds the brutal, unnecessary acts. We pay for the brutality like we buy burgers. Yes. Yes, indeed. All right, we're on a good start. Next story. Again, and this is one of those stories that did not go up under the radar. This was actually told everywhere. And I'm only bringing this story to light because I want to say F around and find out. But the more I think about it, the more I really do not want to take this lap, this victory lap. I don't want to do this, see what you do when you do this. I don't want to do this because I didn't like it from the beginning. I don't like this happen either because it just opens up way too much of Pandora's box, which is already busted freaking wide open now. So apparently you just want to just like pick the whole box up and smash it against the floor. Just, hey, have at it. But to get to my point, we have gone through a lot of legislation in a lot of different states that's trying to ban books, however they want to say it. Ban books, remove books, desensitize books, whatever. Because when I was growing up, I was trying to think, why does this sound familiar to me? And it wasn't ban books. Well, back in my day, they didn't ban books. What they would do was they would take books and desensitize it, i.e. they would take the books off the shelves, take it back to the publisher. The publisher will figure out what it is that people are having the issues with, write it out of the books, and release the books back with those parts that was
sanitized. Yeah,
it was sanitized.
That's exactly
Marlon,
right.
I'm gonna say this real quick before you transition, and only because it's funny. In elementary school, right? Elementary school, my daughter, she didn't like going to recess, so she would always spend her recess time in the library. That's just what she did. So she was one of the things that they had them doing was there were books that were given to them to go and mark out the offensive words in books in the elementary school library. And this is like, let's see, she going to high school now, so this is like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
How did they do that, Theus? Did they give them a list of words or
Yeah, they just say, hey,
Yeah.
make sure you mark this word out, whatever. You know, and I've heard of that before. I've heard of it. I'll be honest, I've
Seeing
heard of
books
it.
with
I've
But the
words
never,
fact
marked
that my
out.
I've
kid was
never heard
doing
of this
that, I was
before.
just
This is
like,
new to me. But this is
I've
the funny,
yeah,
seen
man.
books
the funny
like
thing
that.
about this is what makes it so funny. So you're going to give elementary school sensitive information to
Yeah,
mark out
yeah.
on books so people won't read the
Yeah.
sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay,
I'm
if
gonna
you
teach
see the
you these
word
words
jam, which
that
you
you
probably never heard of
yeah,
That you should
before,
know.
yeah. Hey, come here, 10 or 11-year-old. I'm gonna teach you some words that you shouldn't know. And then I need you to not let anybody else learn these words. So
W
yeah.
T F.
God,
I think it's hilarious. But they started
it
this with
is.
like Uncle Tom's Cabin many, many, many years ago,
Yeah.
right? They
Yes.
went in and started marking out the N word and all that. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
for real, why don't you teach people the context of that which you're reading? Because then they can understand the story. And was the word used pretty egregiously? Yes. But it came from a time when that was like the word that was constantly being used, you
True.
know? And the more you chase down certain texts or whatever, the more attention you bring to it. Like they just did with the sister with the poem. You, she's selling books out the wow right now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
But
the internet doesn't exist and I can't Google what I want.
Did you hear about the difference of what was it, The Giving Tree? That book that basically that tree was so giving. She gave all of her leaves, she gave all of her wood until there was no more of her. That was the original book. That got sanitized, and I like the ending now because that tree sets boundaries and says for our friendship to be healthy and reciprocal here, you need to give and not just take. And so I like the lesson a whole lot better, but I found it very interesting, the whole change process.
I'm waiting on them to start going after Dr. Seuss books because you
Ooh,
remember the Butter Battle book,
there we
yeah,
go.
Green
the
eggs and
stars
ham.
on Thars, right?
We
The
we
the
we
Yertle,
did.
the turtle, the
Hold on,
Lorax.
hold
These
on, is we did go after of it, but it was
Laura
us.
was great.
It was the liberal during the bigger woke moment when we did look at a whole bunch of Dr. Seuss books. It's like this ain't cool. You need to get rid of it. And
yeah,
conservatives lost their ever loving
Sure did.
mind. Oh
Just
my
take
because
away my
God!
green
Oh,
eggs
you're
and
removing.
ham.
Now you're
Where
removing
I
Dr.
am.
Seuss. Oh my God, Dr.
and
Seuss.
the funniest part about that whole debacle, and this is why I was saying it's not equal, but when you're in a battle like this, you got to choose how you're going to fight.
Mm,
And the left refuses to decide how it's going to fight. So either you're going to be the good guy, which means you need to be the good guy all the time, or you're going to fight fire with fire. It's which way you're going to go. So what the left likes to do is play both sides, which is a terrible, terrible thing. So they wanted to police speech on some Dr. Seuss books because they said they were racist, and they went all crazy about books that the family themselves said, "Hey, we don't want these out there no more." The Seuss family said, "Take
Even
these books
the
out,"
Yeah, they was like,
and
well, we
and
don't want. So now we're
even
gonna
and the
protest. We mad
conservatives,
now.
times
right?
change,
And the
language
conservatives,
changes.
because yeah, and the conservatives, because they're a bunch of liars, they said, "Oh, they're going after green eggs and ham." No, they're not. They're going after books you ain't never heard of. That's what they're doing.
right.
But then the
Mm,
left, where they're disingenuous a lot of times, is the left will sit there and try to police speech to the point that they become every bit as oppressive as the
yep,
people on the right. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't
yep.
talk anymore. You can't. You're so afraid of saying something that somebody else might think is racist, and then your
Right.
whole world gets set on fire. That's the left. You know what
You
I'm saying? The
can't make
right,
a mistake.
Let me
crazy.
go ahead. Let me go ahead and get to the story because Theus, you opened up you opened me up to something I was talking to Foxy about that was just so funny. And I know if I start talking about it, we ain't never gonna get to this story. So let's get to this story. And I promise before we even go to the next hour that I will bring up is examples of exactly what you were saying. And I'll just give you a hint that white people that's on our side, I appreciate you. I really do. Do not take what I'm finna say as an insult in any type of way whatsoever. I appreciate your support. But
Lay it on me.
not everything is racist.
Man, you laid that so thick. Hey, Tracy, I like the color of your shirt. That is a beautiful color, Tracy.
Thank you.
Not
I haven't talked the whole
everything is
episode, but that's
racist.
okay.
I'm sorry. Not everything is racist, y'all. I'm sorry. You
What?
really got to.
If Marlon ever gonna play this video,
I want to shut down before 12 o'clock. I don't want to hear you. Anyway,
we
so the
just
whole
saying.
story is okay, red shirt. The story is that in Utah, somebody did put in a request for a book to be banned, to be removed from school libraries. And it was the Bible.
The committee is going to be reading for a long time to read the Bible. They get to read it cover to cover.
This is Michelle Edgley, the president of the Utah Educational Library Media Association, speaking with Fox 13 News back in March.
I don't think that most parents have either the right or the knowledge of the student bodies to be banning books for the entire school.
On Thursday, the Davis School District says a district review committee reviewed the King James Version of the Bible in its entirety. While they determined it didn't contain sensitive material as defined by Utah code, they still pulled it from elementary and junior high school library shelves. Back in March, a Utah parent petitioned to have it removed, saying the religious text is pornographic.
We're grateful that the Sensitive Material Review Committee is taking their job seriously.
Utah State Representative Ken Ivory sponsored a bill that passed the legislature last year prohibiting sensitive materials in schools.
When many groups characterize this as banning books, that really is an attempt to simply, hyperbolize what's going on. We're simply clarifying age-appropriate limits.
With that law in place, if a parent makes a formal request, schools have to remove any books that contain human genitals in a state of sexual stimulation or arousal, acts of human masturbation, or sexual intercourse.
Their determination to limit the age appropriateness of the Bible should set a standard.
A district spokesperson says the Bible is not taught as part of the curriculum. They estimate 7 to 8 elementary schools and junior high schools in the district had the Bible on library shelves.
The Bible has always been best studied around the fireplace by the families where, parents can give context to the warnings and the teachings that are in the Bible.
The decision has been appealed by an individual, the district says, who would like this version of the Bible retained at all levels. It will now go to an appeals committee consisting of 3 members of the Davis School District Board of Education. In Farmington, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
No, this is Tracy. Hold on, Theus. I'm going to give it to Tracy first.
This is what I've been waiting for. This is what, whenever they talk about ban this book and ban this book, this is what I want people to do. As a person that reads her Bible, this is what I want you to do. Book banning is stupid. If you don't want your child reading a book, don't let your child read the book, but don't tell me what my child can read. This is what I've been. This points out the hypocrisy of the right. This points out basically that first of all, do you even read your Bible? Do you read it? Do you actually read it? No, you don't. You're sitting here trying to protect people. We have this thing in the United States. I know some people want to think it. The Constitution is not the Bible. They're two different things. I know some people on the right don't want to understand that, but they're two different things. To take your morality and just scatter it around and then say, okay, it's either our way or the highway, that ain't what Jesus meant when he said go make disciples. Again, it's compelled, not make. I'm done.
Tracy, let me put it I'm
Miss
sorry.
Tracy, I have a question. Are all of the things the factors that they do not like, are all of them in the Bible?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You have stories in, but there's literally a story in the Bible of two daughters raping their father. They got him drunk and they raped him so they could have children. That's in the Bible. I bet you 90% of Republicans don't know that.
You don't want to talk about God.
They only know what's been read to them. But Tracy, first, one thing you said, Constitution and the Bible is not the same thing. Well, it is now. They had the Patriots Bible. And instead of Jesus,
don't mention that piece of garbage.
So, and the other thing I thought was so hilarious about that little thing, when they did the 3 rules, I can't remember all 3, but 2 of them were just like each other, and the third one was about actual sexual intercourse.
2 of them was the same thing.
The first one tripped me out. So we can talk about your wee winky if it's doing this, but if your wee winky do this, now we got a problem, right? Not aroused, aroused. What in the world? Somebody sat around in a room.
And
somebody sat in a room with otherwise intelligent people.
The guy at the end. That's the Ken.
The one that was trying to make all the excuses, the Republican guy.
He didn't do it by himself. Please believe every time you see something weird that happens in America or horrible, it's a committee. There's like people.
There are
who
people
get
that
together.
still, but there are still people in this in the faith, and I love the people in the faith. I do. I really do. That still
Are they in the
want
faith though when they go this far out?
They say they are. I'm gonna say they say they are.
Okay.
Because it's not up to me to judge. I ain't nobody's judge. I can't be. But
I don't know. But I think when somebody is far enough afield, an observation can be made, right? Like the person who's holding the rope while the man is being strangled in the air could have a preacher's collar on. And I think at this point, it's safe for me to say that's not a Christian, right? I mean, by my observation.
And
understand, but that's not the point. I guess that's not the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is to people of who are like the same faith that I am. I know it's somebody out there that's in the same faith that I am. We got to do better. We just got to, because this is trifling. We literally will tell people, and I can't never think of the lady's name. She's the one that sued to take prayer out of school. I can't never think of her name. Something on here. I can't think of her name, but it's like, and you will still have people saying, well, she took prayer out of school. Stop it. Stop saying things that are not true. When you do things like this, you make us look stupid. Stop it. Stop making us look stupid.
But let me say this real quick. You say judgment, and I just want to make an observation. If I point out what you're doing, that's not judging. I'm pointing out what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm always going to point out the behavior, but I'm not going to say you're not saved.
Yeah, if I'm looking at you.
Yeah, that's the point she's making, Marlon.
Not all judgments is bad.
Yeah, not all judgments are bad. We're going to judge. This is a whole other thing.
I don't want to use the word judgment because people keep saying, if I look at you and do that, you're doing something. Well, don't judge me.
What you're doing. That's not the sense that I meant.
Yeah.
I meant that I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody, oh, you're not saved. No, I can't do that. That's what I'm not going to do.
But here's the thing, though, and I agree with you, Tracy, and I get it, but that puts you guys into a corner that you can't get out of, right? Mm-hmm. Because that means the people who abuse your faith, you can't fight them because you can't say that they're not truly following the faith. How?
Oh,
you use the Bible as your judgment stone. You don't use your own opinion.
And the Bible says that there's only one judge.
But you didn't read the rest of that verse, though. See, people just stop it. Thou shalt not judge. Hold on, but wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to. I'm trying
That's
to.
exactly how they play the Bible.
People will
though.
say, "Oh, well, this says don't judge," but you don't read the verses down where it says, "When do you judge?" It's already.
Marlon, 1 second. I want to hear her say this. Help me
I'm
out.
saying that yes, the Bible says, "Judge not unless ye be judged." Clearly states that. However, there's more verses. If you read the whole chapter, that whole chapter, there's a context to that people completely miss, and this is what they completely miss. They miss the point where, and I'm not sharp on this as I would like to be, but Jesus says something back to the fact of when you judge, don't condemn. The whole thing is to, yes, you can point out, hey, Anna, you wrong for taking my pork chop. You just wrong. But I can't send Anna to hell for taking my pork chop.
Right.
There's a
You're not
difference.
supposed to. You don't have the power to determine the final.
Yes, I use pork chop. I couldn't think of nothing
right?
else.
No, it was a perfect analogy, right? I can tell you that what you're doing does not line up with the spirit of what I know.
Exactly.
I can tell you that Jesus specifically taught against this. I can tell you that when they wanted to stone that woman for adultery, and he stopped them, and he said, "Let the first without sin cast the first stone." Right. So all of these things, to point all these things out, the spirit of the Bible is very clear. But we like to get into the text, which has been doctored and altered over the years, and use those as cudgels however we choose to do so. But the point I was getting about where it puts you in a corner is that it's hard to fight with one arm kind of behind your back because they know everything you know. And they'll just sit there and talk louder. And
that's
it's
when
so unfair. It's an unfair battle.
All I can say to that is I don't argue with nobody on Bible, period. I won't do it. I'm not going to get in no argument with you. I'm not going to I'll discuss
That's part of my point. But that's part of my point. When the good know that they're good, but because they're good, they do not oppose evil. Evil is able to go and corrupt more. You see what I'm saying?
Not opposing evil?
If you're saying that I'm not going to argue with you, I'm not going to push back against you, I ain't going to do none of that.
Because either you believe or you don't. That's the way I see it. Now I could be totally wrong.
And I'm not trying to move you off your position. What I'm saying is, if that is the position that a person takes, let's say I take that position, because I kind of hold that, even though I'm not like religious like that.
Fight.
Well, there's always a better way to fight.
But if you're
Was I not
okay? So a better way to put this, I guess, is if not direct opposition, what does the opposition look like?
Yeah, you just lost me.
I think that's more fair. So, like, if someone, you got that guy in Tennessee with the tent, you know that guy.
Oh yeah, the fake.
We all know who the guy is.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
well, he's got a real congregation.
He has a real congregation.
So, they all got
followers.
guns and doing some weird stuff. But hey, but like you said, if that person is speaking in your midst, if your response is, and I'm not saying that everybody should do it and start trying to shout everybody down, because that just creates noise. But if the response is, oh, well, this person is so far off and way out there, I'm not even going to say nothing about that. I'm just going to go my own way and go over here. Fair enough. I actually hold to that a lot of times. But the thing would be, well, what's going to be the other action? Like, how can you oppose?
Okay, but there's a way to approach that, and that also is in the Bible. When you find someone who is doing something offensive, you approach that person, like one-on-one. If they don't listen, then you bring another person and you approach that person. If they still don't listen, you bring yourself, another person. You approach that person. If they still don't listen, you take that person before the congregation. And if they still don't listen, see you later.
But now that would assume, and I'm with you, I follow you, and I'm not nitpicking. Because I get the point of what you're saying.
Wow.
Right? You come to a person in confidence and you say, hey, I heard what you were saying. It doesn't line up with what my understanding is, and I question if it really fits what you understand. Can you help me understand where you're coming from? Right? You come in confidence to that person, and that person blows you off. and then you go get someone else who may be either more learned in it or more respected or
Right.
whatever, and you bring that person in, and then you that only works though in the event that you're dealing with a fellow believer, truly a fellow believer, because you keep bringing people all you want to. The moment you say, well, look, we are at an impasse, and what you're doing is really discouraging the word getting to the right people. You are actually bearing witness in a way that causes more harm to the kingdom than benefit. And you won't listen to me. You won't listen to our elders. You won't listen to the pastor. We're gonna have to take this in front of the congregation. At that point, let's say I'm the offender. I'm like, I don't recognize your authority.
Then you have to be
I'm not
dismissed. I
going.
mean, that's very clear. You have to. I mean,
But
you
then
can just.
I have to put
So
it back
should
on one thing though.
we
That
should only
may
be in our
outlier, though.
I'm talking
That
about believers. I'm not talking about like outside people.
no, I
I'm
mean
clearly.
But
even
someone
if that
who's
was
I
a
mean,
abusing the
believer,
faith
even
may
if that
not
was a
be a
true believer,
believer, but they're pretending to be.
yeah, even
But I'm
if
sorry,
that was a
Marlon.
true believer though, that's still I still Theus, I still have to put that as yeah, you may be the outlier of the group. The people who may be like, you know what, maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I do need to listen to them more. I believe there's more people like that who will
Yeah, you
get
always gonna get
what's
that
going
one
on.
knucklehead that
Yeah,
says,
you
"No,
gonna
I'm
get
right."
that one
Oh,
person
yeah, that's
Mhm.
that Donald Trump. I'm always right. Only
this is
I
the
alone
is
can fix it. Blah 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 person. You always gonna have that person.
now Tracy, let me push back on you on one thing, and then I'm gonna get to the comments. I understand exactly what you were saying about eating the pork chop, and I can
I
judge
like pork
you.
chop.
I can
Yeah,
judge you
please
on
took your
that.
pork chop because I don't like pork chops.
Well,
What?
okay.
Chicken. Anna took my chicken.
Okay,
Okay, I get the story
I
of the
would take
chicken and
your
everything
chicken.
else. I can't tell you that you going to hell because
'Cause
you took the last bit of piece of chicken.
Well, I don't like drumsticks,
But I
so
can tell you one thing real quick though. I can't tell you you're going to hell for eating chicken. You go to hell for eating all the toppings off the top of a damn pizza. I'm sorry. You got
that
to.
is not what he's
You
coming
got
back to
to.
do.
I
He did
can't
not
see
come
you
back.
going to heaven on that, man. I can't see that. I can't
No,
see that route for
no,
you.
that
I
ain't.
don't
I can't
think
see that route. I can't see
You
that.
know, I mean,
at the
there's.
Last
path.
Supper, I don't think that came up.
I
I
can't
Yeah,
don't.
see
you.
that path. We don't know
Okay.
what was said at the Last Supper.
Huh?
Well,
Huh?
We don't know what was said at the Last Supper.
We don't, but I don't think that Judas was over there eating all the pepperoni off the pizza like he was normal.
Judas became Judas for a reason. That made look. Why is this dude?
Boy,
on the
y'all
damn-
really. Whoo-wee.
Why is Judas taking all the skin off the damn off the grapes? Man, what the hell is going on here? Let me go ahead and read these comments. Slippery.
Please do.
But Paul would have been the one double dipping in the marinara sauce. I already know.
It's
Yeah,
not
he
no
sounds
matter.
like something he would do.
mm,
Florida would be like Parker. Florida would be like, okay, kids, your job is to mark out all the references to Japanese in internment camps or some other bad historical thing.
The Holocaust,
The
slavery.
Holocaust, yeah. Oh yeah. I doubt that. Mickey, one
Christofascist.
Christofascist parent can object and the book is banned, even if the other 200 parents didn't want it banned. And Mickey,
Yep,
I'm
they
not
take
putting
over
words in your
school
mouth.
that
book.
We're talking about that
That's
one
a
lady who put in the most laziest the poet, what Thiz was talking about. If you actually pull up the paperwork on what it was, what did the guy say? It was a total of 30 words on a piece of paper that got that book banned.
Because
wait a minute. I missed something.
people with ill intent will put forth the effort to achieve the goals that they have. Most people don't want to be involved, don't have a problem, or just making do and they're living their lives. They're not going to get involved. Therefore, that one lady who happens to be tied to the Proud Boys, I think is the one that she's tied to, that lady
Oh, she got the
is
poor.
the
Okay.
only voice, right? That's like they say,
Yeah.
like you hear from politicians all the time, especially House members, where they hear from the same 50, 60 people every day. So it starts seeming like there's more of them than there actually are. Because the rest of us, man, I ain't never called my.
Really? Never?
You never
And I'm
have.
pretty involved.
You've
and I
never
don't ever
called.
call them.
Oh, you need to be calling.
For what?
Because you're a citizen and you're concerned about the
Hey.
environment around you, and
Hey, I'm concerned about black people in America.
that's why you need to be calling them, especially if they're not black.
That's a good way of doing that. Parker, we all know the number one book that kids are rushing to read is in the school, the Bible, LOL. I wonder what percentage of kids even know the Bible is at their library. They probably know it. They probably just walk right past it.
Because they got one at home.
I knew that school had the Bible, but I've never checked the Bible out in school.
Who does that?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tommy. You're not going to be able to get that today. It was. It's currently checked out. Never happened.
Right. Judas and Tamar.
Judah and Tamar, brother rapes sister.
Thank you. Parker, Tracy, it was.
Yes, Madeline Murray O'Hara. Yes, that's who it. Oh my gosh.
And folks, I want y'all right now when we go to or do it when we go to break. Look this woman up and tell me if she wasn't the first Karen. Don't listen to her.
No.
She wasn't a Karen. I mean,
the first
look
Karen.
at her. Just look at her.
I mean, she
me
went.
If Karen is not the first thing that pops in your head when you see her, I promise you. Don't go look at no videos of her talking because she talks a little. But don't listen to her. Just look at her picture and go. Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not going to typecast her based off of her appearance.
Yeah, I would.
The Supreme Court.
1962.
Okay.
And yep. Thank you, man. Yep, Matthew 7.
Okay.
Yep.
He knows his Bible.
Parker, I'm not going to pretend like I already knew that fact. I just Googled it. Whatever.
Hey, whatever works. If it works, go for it.
Look, I'm happy for this group because I done seen some groups where they got a lot more viewers than I do, and somebody go, and what's that person's name? And what's this person's name? And it'd be like an hour later, they still ain't looked up who that person is. So like, oh, we just gonna pretend like we never talked about that person. We just go, okay, let's just go on. I was like, so nobody's gonna look, okay. Matthew 7, Jesus said that for whatever measure you judge, you should be judged yourself. Translation, mind your business, else God will read yours out loud.
Ain't that the truth? Oh boy, that's the.
And I want to throw
this. Then we start sliding into my problem. Never mind.
And here's the deal, everyone. You notice that they always say what God wants, what God wants, what God wants, what God wants, what God wants. It's very few and far in between. I have yet to come across it. So I'm saying few and far between because just in case somebody does say it, I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody say what Jesus. I've always seen what God said.
We talked about that last week.
Nobody said Jesus said because it's real easy to go, let me flip this book open for you real quick. But when it comes to God in the Old Testament, because the majority of all the judgment that they doing, they're judging, not us, because we found out not to judge. But all the judgment comes from the Old Testament.
Which is hilarious because the Old Testament wasn't even about us.
Okay, I'm gonna take a fifth on that one because that's not quite. No, that's not quite. No, I'll be quiet.
I have never seen anybody
when people
say
cite
Jesus
stuff to me.
I've never seen anybody say Jesus said this and this is why you should do.
That's purposeful though. We talked about that last week. Literally last week, we talked about how politicians will say God and God and God, but they'll never say Jesus. Wonder why?
Yeah.
It's convenience.
It's a convenience.
Yeah, it's all about how you control the masses. What's going to stir people up more? Right? If you say God, no one can question that. You say Jesus, now I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, where'd you get that?
Where'd you get that from? Right.
Yeah, huh? What?
Right.
What you talking about feeding people? What you talking about clothing naked people? And visit people
that wasn't in
prison.
the red text.
I was about to say that because I said that's not in the red text. I didn't read that in the red text, man.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand anything anybody said there. Everybody was
So
talking.
in the
Okay,
King James version of the Bible, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, there may be some that don't do this, but every time Jesus is speaking, it's
It's
done in
in
red.
red. Yep, red.
So yeah, so you
It'd
can
be black
see at a
font and then
glance.
red, and you'd be like, "Oh, well,
Yeah,
this is what Jesus said."
yeah,
Goes right to the red.
it's kind of like looking at a comic book strip where you know you have the bubble over some certain person's
the
head.
main
They try to
character is
do it
speaking.
flatly by saying, "Okay,
Yeah, pay
this is the
attention.
text."
It's Anna is saying, pay attention to this. We're gonna put it in a different color so you can
Yeah,
look
the,
at
the
it.
different color
Wow.
is
But
Jesus'
because we
tone.
put it in a different color, we
I've
know you
never
will now
seen.
miss all context to what's going on.
Wow. I mean, there's a Bible in every hotel room and in every hospital
No, in
room.
hotel rooms it's not the red letter edition. Hotels,
Yeah,
it's just all black.
Okay.
They don't take that extra step.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and that was put
You
there
gotta have a
by
special Bible. I've never seen.
A
what
Bible app
denomination
will
puts
do it.
those?
It's not a
There's a denomination that does the Bibles in the hotels though.
Gideon's.
Like
the
it's just part of
Gideon.
their mission. Gideon, there you go. But they
All
make
right,
sure that that gets there.
Yeah, but it's not in red. It's not the red letter edition.
I ain't never read the Bible in my hotel ever.
To read
Not theirs. I've read mine, but I ain't never read theirs.
you called out hypocrisy.
All the time.
All right, everybody, that is our first hour. I have to cut it short because we got a long second hour because we don't have a show tomorrow. And just in case I didn't tell anybody, there is no show tomorrow. We're gonna take Sunday off to really reboot. So the second hour is gonna go pretty long. So
It's a boxing night, so
it's Foxy night.
No, well, we'll excuse it.
yeah, you can't boo a
Thank
boxing night.
you very much. Thank you for protecting
Now,
my.
is this a gift that she wants, or is this a gift that you giving? Because you know sometimes you be like, I'm gonna spend time with my fox, and she like, man.
This is the gift. This is the gift that I want to give.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
Hey,
gonna
guys,
cook and clean for it. That's so nice of you.
All right, that's nice. I love that, man. That's beautiful.
Clean the whole house, fold the clothes.
Ain't nobody doing all that. So we're gonna go ahead and go into the second hour. So we're gonna take a 3-minute break if everybody's new here. Hey, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. We are already up to 10 likes. I don't even know where it came from, but keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. We're already up to 10 likes. Go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. It's just that little button down at the bottom, just like Anna said. We will see everybody on the other side with a full list of Am I the A-hole, Real or Nah, Mafia Video of the Week, and Foxy's Video of the Week. Stay tuned. We are back. So, of course, without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/A Better Tracy Media page. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Complex Mind. Help support Theas in all of his endeavors. Look at that. That is so beautiful. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Radical Truth to Power, exactly the way it's spelled, capital R, capital T, capital T, capital P. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliaEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, if you want to drop me a line, because a lot of y'all are really getting on my nerves, because y'all know this website now, please do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com.
I thought you said they were nice. They're getting on your nerves.
They are nice. I just can't keep up now. It's like,
hey man, it's the price of success.
Yeah.
I love
that shirt though, Tracy. Real talk, man. I really like that color on you. That is a really nice color on you, Tracy.
I was actually going to ask, is it orange because
it's red?
It's
really, it's coming across like a auburn.
I wore orange last week.
Autumn kind of.
This is
Like a
definitely
reddish
red.
orange type of.
Doing all that's red.
It looks a little more orange to me, and I don't know.
I mean,
Must be my
Marla,
phone.
you are the person that thought my hair was purple, so I mean, maybe they not trying to.
For a while, yeah. I'm not even gonna lie to you. For a while, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool."
I thought it was too, Tracy.
I thought it was cool.
Something with your lighting.
No, never.
I'm sorry. For a low while, I literally just used to look at your hair and go, "That is so cool to do."
Did you see that picture of me in the message I sent? I sent the picture of me like when I had no gray hair, and I was like, "What happened to all this gray hair?" And then I sent the picture. I said, "Look what
the
happened."
first time I saw you was on Progressive Queen. And it was like, that's what I said. I thought your hair was purple. And I like people who like, you know what? I got gray hair, so it is what it is. But
we gonna get a wig
in
if
this
we
joint
can
then.
get
I'm gonna
one.
go ahead and do that. I was
Everybody.
like, that is so cool. I like people like that. Like, it is what it is. I can't change it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you
Tracy,
can change it.
I dyed my hair green.
Everybody that I speak to about the show, one of the first things that comes out is I love Tracy's hair.
Why, people?
I straight up, I do. I love.
I love your hair.
Your hair is so cool, Tracy, that it's actually a trend now. People are
I
coloring their
literally
hair.
don't know anybody that sits around and says, "You know what I'm gonna do? Get very gray in the front and then get some black in the back." Don't nobody do that. They either go all gray.
No, I see that all.
Or they get a little streak.
Highlight, right?
Yeah, they do
love
highlights.
that.
This is not a highlight. No, can't stand it. Can't wait. If I wasn't color resistant, I'd color it. But a wig.
I have literally seen that all the time. I have literally seen everybody's hair. I've seen a whole bunch of women whose hair was all gray until it gets to the end and it's black. I've seen that.
No, I've seen it where they go to a stylist and they have their hair.
Yeah, give me the Tracy look.
And yeah, there's a lady on YouTube.
That's right.
She brags about, she shows off how fine she is in her late 40s, and her hair gray like that. So I heard.
People who dye their hair silver. I'm sorry, you never say gray. They call it silver.
But I'm also getting a lot of really good feedback.
Silver hair fox.
Yep.
Ain't that a thing? That was a thing, right? That was in the 20s. The silver hair fox.
Then we had to ban somebody because they fell in love with you, Tracy.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
we did.
Jay, don't go back to that. Please don't never bring up that.
It don't matter because I literally have no idea what that dude's name is now. I
And don't want to know.
What
But I told you how. But I'm like, I want to
you
watch
did, you did. I was like, but dang. So yeah, somebody out there likes them some Tracy.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
A lot of people out there like them some Tracy.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly.
Am I the a-hole? Heads up, we got two of these. One that's the real Am I the a-hole? The other one is just funny. Speaking of what I was saying about Tracy and me thinking she had purple hair, and I really admire people who, when they go through a situation and it is what it is, they're gonna make the best of it. They're gonna put it on Front Street, either you like it or not. I don't care. I'm living my best life. So this situation right here, and Anna, I'll put this in your corner. Not the worst person of the year, but right now, as of right now, I got him a good third place.
I'm a 25-year-old man, and my girlfriend, who's 24, had a double mastectomy 5 years ago. She had breast cancer and thankfully made a full recovery. Unlike a lot of women, she didn't have any reconstructive surgery. This was before I met her. I'm a big anime nerd, and last weekend I invited her to a small anime con with me. She's seen a few episodes of my favorite shows, but she's not into anime. She does like cosplay though, and she works seasonally as a special effects artist at a haunted house near us. So when I asked her to go to the con with me, she asked if she could cosplay, and I said sure. She got very excited and said that I was going to love her costume. So I'll admit, I thought that she was going to do something sexy for me. Well, not exactly. The day of the convention comes, and she showed up at my house cosplaying Dabi from My Hero Academia, specifically a look that he has later in the manga. It's a long white coat over white pants with no shirt. Her entire chest was exposed, and she'd obviously spent hours applying burn makeup. She has short hair that she dyes constantly. This time, she bleached it white and dyed a few red streaks. I wasn't expecting her to show up without a shirt. Her burn scar makeup only covered half her chest, so you could clearly see her mastectomy scar. It wasn't a very attractive costume, especially since she'd gone all out with the scars and made them look raised and kind of realistic. We went to the convention, and while a lot of people came up to take photos with her, I noticed several others looking at her chest. That evening, she said that I'd been quiet all day, and I honestly told her that I was a little embarrassed that she was flaunting her mastectomy scar like that. She got mad at me and said that she was making the best of her situation and said that I was being insensitive, and she's been distant ever since. I'm starting to feel guilty. Am I the bad guy?
Yes. Yes. Yes, you are. You. Ooh. I went to church event today. How he gonna sit there?
Here's why I say it's complicated. First of all, this was her life story, and she found a way to be at ease with her own body and her own self. And she probably assumes, since you're her man, you are too. And so she did this thing. She's not even really into this stuff, but for you, she's got a little interested. She went all out. She found a way to incorporate the whole thing and show off her positive self-image and do this character thing and be in public with it. Like, you felt uncomfortable with her in public like that, but she didn't feel uncomfortable in public like that. So it's complicated from the standpoint of, I can get it. I really can. Because that'd be like if my wife, wanted to walk around with her breast is out, right? They're hers, right? But I'm gonna feel all kind of some way, and I'm like, nah, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? So
is she gonna say yes?
I am. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's complicated, right? So it's like, if he had that much of an issue, he owed it to her to voice it,
to speak up
before they left, even though she didn't give him a lot of time to do that because she just showed up ready to go. But that still would have been the time. But he didn't know how to do that without hurting her feelings. So he tries to gut it out. He thinks he'll be okay. He goes to this thing. I think we've all been in situations where you think you're going to be okay, but you're really not okay. And so it's like, I can't fault him for how he feels. And I really applaud her for how she conducts herself. And then the two just kind of clash. I think it's a fair thing. And he was honest with her. He said what his concern was. It hurt her feelings. So what? Sometimes you hurt each other's feelings. It's part of a relationship. She now knows that about him. He knows a little bit more about her. That's how you grow in a relationship. And after she's done being distant, they'll be fine and they'll keep rocking. So that's why I say it's complicated. I don't think he's an asshole. I think it was just, you could have done better, but you were being true to yourself.
I totally disagree. I really do. Was he the one going under the chemotherapy treatments? Was he the one going?
That's not the point.
Well, man, I'm gonna get to my point. Was he the one going under the double mastectomy and had scars? So she didn't choose to go through reconstructive surgery. And your problem with her is what? We need to, as a society, male and female, need to stop judging people about how they look. Just stop it. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. We all do it. We all got eyes. We all gonna judge. I'm saying what we should do, not what we do. Well, what we do. What y'all know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
But what I'm
We
saying
try to
is,
do the do.
this just sounds so insane. I'm like, you haven't been through what she's been through. First of all, she's 24. You know how rare it is for a 24-year-old to have breast cancer? Breast cancer.
And catch it in time.
And and that was what, 5 years ago. So that means she was what, 19? 19 years old, and she has cancer. And he's gonna say he feels uncomfortable? Boy, if you don't sit your ungrateful, trifling self
Is
down
he not
somewhere.
allowed to have feelings, though?
He has a lot to sit down and talk about with himself.
He
for
sure
himself.
does.
Oh, yes, he
I
does.
felt uncomfortable. Did you feel nah?
But I cannot
No,
fault
because
a
it's
man
not
for
that
his
he's uncomfortable
feelings.
with her. It's not, if you really hurt, and I guess I'm hearing it from a guy's point of view, so that's different. If way I'm hearing it is, like I said, he definitely should have done better by this, because these are conversations you need to have had. But he wasn't embarrassed of her. He was embarrassed of what he perceived other people looking at her like.
Or was
he?
he?
It was like, that's what he said. I mean, it's literally like, because he's not embarrassed of her because that's his lady. They go to eat, they go do things, they do all that stuff. So he's not ashamed of her. What it was is the social thing that he's
Why
dealing with.
did he have such a visceral reaction?
Yeah, what if they decide to go swimming and she wants to wear a swimsuit, but she just wears a tank top? I mean, where is this going to stop it? How far is he going to take this?
I don't know, and he's also 25 years old, so he needs to work through some stuff. But
here's my argument. Here's my argument, and I do get what you're saying. I mean, there are times when you do need to discuss some things. There are some times when you need to sit down and have that uncomfortable. The men for the longest time. Sometimes you just got to have that uncomfortable conversation, but you got to have it.
Yes.
However, that being said, dude, I don't really give a rat's ass about your embarrassment.
Thank you. I really don't.
And if you saw people staring at her chest, you don't think she saw people staring at her chest? And she took the blunt of saying, hey, I know what's going to happen. I know it's going to come. I know people are going to stare at it. Some people are going to come and take pictures of me. There are going to be people that's going to look at me and go, ooh, gross, icky. I get it. But this is why I keep saying there are some people who I admire so much of saying, it is what it is. Like,
agreed.
This is me. So we're going to have this embarrassing moment and everything else. Trust me when I say people who get embarrassed, the person who put themselves out there is going to be a whole lot more damn embarrassed than you are ever going to be.
Maybe.
No,
they've gotten past that because
I'm gonna tell you why.
No, it's not. It is a maybe, because if she's gotten to the point where she has owned it, she's not embarrassed no more.
No, as time
she is standing in her truth.
As that's a time goes on situation. This is as they're telling the story now. As they're telling the story, this was the first time she went herself out there. So she, I guarantee you, was going, this is embarrassing. People are looking at me, but I'm here now. And I just got to work my way through it. I'm not calling this dude an a-hole. All I want to do is give you just a tad bit of advice if you want this to work. If you're not willing to work it out, you can ignore me, whatever. Except that this is what it is. That no, you saying that she embarrassing because she showed off her chest does not mean, oops, she's going to cover herself up all the time. Like Tracy said, she may want to go to have a two-piece going to the beach one day. Either you're going to accept it, and I'll pull in a little bit of Tracy. Well, I pull in a little bit of Tracy and a little bit of Thea's. Either accept the way it is, because she's not going to change the way she is because it is the way it is, and then a little bit of Thea's. And if you can't handle it, cool. That's fine. You do you, because you're the one who has to deal with whatever it is that's making you do it. And if it's so uncomfortable for you, get out of the relationship.
I agree.
You go find somebody, and she can go find somebody. No animosity.
No. Hold on now. Hold on, because you're distorting my point. Because I agree with you in that you're dating. You can break up anytime you want to for any reason. I'm 100% there. But what I'm saying is, when do we allow for growth?
No,
right?
that's why I said
people don't come to the table fully developed, and the only alternative is, well, suck it up or quit. Sometimes you need to now be helped because you thought you were there. You thought that you were good. You thought you were well evolved, and this is my baby, and I love her, and we go out to eat and blah, 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 blah. But see, you hadn't really been tested yet, dude. You out there with your woman, and she's fully clothed, and she doesn't have apparent breasts. So you think you're doing something, right? Because you love her for her and all that blah, 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 blah. That the scars don't mean nothing to you, and it's true to you. That's growth. That's something special. That's something to be recognized for this young man. But at the same time, he had not been in this situation yet. So is he going to grow through this situation, or will it be a stumbling block? That's part of a relationship. Like my brother, for example, he had his leg amputated. He just started a new business. It's taking him a while to get to where he is. He just started a new business. And one of the designs that he has on one of his shirts has a gentleman on the shirt with the amputated leg. And it basically says, yes, I know it's missing. Right? That is, to me, an expression similar to what she is doing. Yes, I know they're missing. But look how cool I did this anime. I rocked this shit. Right? Now, her man, on the other hand, hadn't been in this environment, this situation yet. He thought he was ready. He was not. And instead of sitting on it and letting it fester inside of himself, he went to his woman and he said, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. I want you to know. That's growth. Okay. Right? That's what we want people to do, isn't it? I mean, or do we just want people to just be perfect?
What you said.
What you just said was, well, hey man, you just need to break up.
No, I said, dude.
I don't think anybody said break up. I
literally said, dude, you are okay. You are at a crossroad. This is what it is. This is what it is. So you could take the cosplay and they're going to cosplay as a two-top. They're going to cosplay as a two-piece bikini. They're going to cosplay as a one-piece bikini. In other words, do you have it in you to say this is what it is?
Marlon. What? Bikinis are not one piece.
Whatever.
He's saying no top. Bikini panties.
No, he said bikini one top, I think.
Who cares? That's not nearly
that's what I took it as. He was talking about the draws.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to be quiet.
My point is,
now she was only wearing one sock. That's a little.
If you wear one sock. But the point is, now you know going forward, this is how it's going to be. Can you accept it? If you can,
but it's not even how it's going to be, though.
It's a growth. And then I'm going with you, Thiz. It's a growth.
How often is she going to be walking out?
It's not.
Like
that. It's not. I just want to let you know that on certain.
Now she might. Now that she's done it,
she might. She may really loved it because I know some people who they go right past the embarrassing to the this feels effing great. And I didn't know how good it felt to just be myself out there.
It is. It's a beautiful feeling.
I've known some people when they first get their new chesticles and they go out in public and they want and they want everybody to see them. Look at
Wait a
these.
minute.
Because they proud of what they got. They proud of what they got.
Okay, maybe I'm missing the.
And
No,
if they
I'm honestly missing the train. I'm
Okay,
gonna just
wait a
look it
minute.
up on Google.
Hold on. Hold the living hell up. Hold everything up and everything in between.
If somebody just said I have breast
you could tell
reconstruction,
me
I would say, right on, sister, you survived.
you good, bruh. I don't need to see what's new down there. I don't need to see what's old down there. I don't need to see anything that's in between.
I didn't say testicles. I said chesticles.
Chesticles.
Oh, I thought, boy.
Up here, Marlon.
He's about as lost as I am. I'm like, oh, and then I called it. I'm like, oh, okay, got it.
I thought you
But you see, you see how squeamish you got though when it became about a dude?
Yup.
Yes.
See how
Yes,
quick
you
that happened?
did. Yes, you did.
I went quick, didn't it?
Baller.
I got something to show you.
For what? What we going to the bathroom from, bro? What for what?
No, I ain't gonna go to the bathroom. We're gonna whip them out right here.
No, don't. Yeah, you.
Look, even when I do this, it make music.
This is why I was brought to a nudist beach as a young child.
Oh, I've
Body
been to
to
one of those. That
body.
wasn't cool.
That is,
You need to learn. You can look for a certain amount of time, but you really just need to mind your own business. But at a con, you want to be seen. That's where, I mean, she went all out. The makeup, the costume.
Yeah, she did that. Hair, all that.
Did it. She did
all of it.
But
Girl,
back about that
so
nudist
proud of
beach.
you. So proud of you.
If you are under the age of 40, do not go to a nudist beach. It's not what you think.
It is nowhere near.
You're
what
gonna
think
wish
it
you
is.
didn't see nothing. All right, just want to let you. Now, granted, when I lived in Germany, it was a little different because you had every age. And so some was nice to see, but most of it was not. Huh?
The one that I went to in New York had every age.
When I went to
And I don't want to see that. So
okay,
this is why it falls into that
I'm
category.
really sorry that you're not comfortable with the human body.
Anna, this falls into
yeah,
the
I'm really
category of
sorry
what you
too
are
because
com-
you know
what you
it's
are comfortable with.
some things I just don't want to see.
It's no. I believe in modesty, and I'll leave it there.
Well, I mean, when you go to a nudist beach, it ain't about modesty. It's everybody's literally wearing the same thing.
Think nothing. Yeah.
No, but I mean, you're literally all wearing the same thing. Like you're literally come as you are. It's the truest sense of come as you are. Except maybe you might have a hat.
Which by the way, never mind.
Well,
It's important.
people had bathing
sunburn.
suits.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
what
gosh.
I'm so concerned about is the sunburn on your damn head. Nikki, it's her body, her scars. If she's comfortable with it, let her show it off. Right.
We all take
We all
risks.
agree there.
We all. Mickey, I'm sorry, I
I'm
can't.
self-conscious about this belly I done grown. I'm trying to get rid of. But I still go to the grocery store and get me some cake.
Right.
I feel bad about it after I get my cake.
But you still eat
So
it.
then I have to eat my cake because I feel bad about it.
And then what'd you do? Go get another one. Oh, dang.
Then I look in the mirror and I feel bad about the cake.
And then
Which
you
then
have-
makes me want some more cake.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, bro, you're a bad psycho.
Parker, he should have said something before they went to the convention.
Yeah.
Also, the
Now,
girls
there
should
you
have
go, right
told
there.
him before they just show up with it on as a surprise. They need to discuss beforehand.
Well,
One of
hindsight
the
is
things
always
that I've
20/20,
heard
but-
all this week over and over and over and over and over again on the shows that I watched to get better is communication. And couples, groups, and everybody has gotten so far away from discussing things because of whatever your reasoning that you want to use, that I shouldn't have to say something. You should know what's in my heart and everything. It never
But-
works out if you're not sitting down and discussing things, talking.
But in a way, if ever there was a not talking about it beforehand situation, this is it. Because he sees her naked all the time. That is his woman. They go out all the time. Wait, hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm hearing you
So
out.
she was literally, the way the story was written anyway, she's not even into anime like that. So she was excited to be doing something for him. So she went all out for him, and she wasn't self-conscious about her body, probably because he has never created an environment where she felt self-conscious about her body. So when she comes, there wouldn't have been a prior conversation, because it's realistic to think that in her mind, there wasn't an issue. The only part that there could have been that maybe would have caused an early conversation, if she thought this way, was she was going to be going into another environment. But she's been living her life all this time, so it may not have even occurred to her. So the first time they have a chance to talk about this is now that something happened. And to me, it was very respectful to come to her, because I've seen people in established relationships.
One
Don't
thing
say
I
shit.
missed, how exactly did he approach her at the end?
She asked him, "Why do you look down, or why are you so quiet?"
Why are you
And
so
he
quiet?
came out and
Yeah, why are
told
you so quiet and distant? Yeah.
So are they still in public? Are they?
I think that was on the ride home.
I think he said he got home or something.
Yeah, or they was on home, or they was on the ride home, or anything else.
Okay, so
And
they're
let me
back
tell you
in.
what you just described what I was saying. Everything that you said was assumption. That everything that you just
Yeah,
said.
but-
Why would we hold that conversation? Because you see me naked and everything else. Yeah, you see me naked at home. Not out in the public. Not putting it on display. I mean,
I feel you.
I don't wanna
I'm
say
just saying
put
it
on
would have been good to have the conversation before, but I can see how it could not have happened.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know if we have. I don't know if we would have felt different if she were well endowed. I'll say it that way. If she were well endowed and she was, wearing something, I don't know if it would be different.
I honestly don't know.
And I don't know if I would
because
feel the same, because I'm clearly like, dude, you need to. But then I'm like, well, what is she?
That's what I'm
the thing
saying.
is, we have-
I don't want to go that route.
Why would
As
that
a
make a
society,
difference?
we're in America, all right? We can pretend like anywhere we want to be, but the reality is we're in America. And in America, we have sexualized breasts. So
We really have.
if she went out in public with her breasts intact and exposed, it would have been a whole different situation, because now she's violating probably whatever decency laws or dumb
Right.
crap we got sitting on the books, or so it would be a whole different conversation. Right? The only equivalent to a woman having her breasts exposed is if the man's walking around with his butt out or something, right? There's weird parallels that
Yeah,
we
we
do.
gotta
It's like
run
the
a
guy's
double-
butt and the woman's breast, and a woman's kitty and the man's, hole digger. Hole puncher.
But I think
hole puncher.
the whole thing that I
Just call
say,
it what it
No.
actually is.
the only
instead
thing that
of
I can
whole
agree with
dick.
you with what you said is I just think it would be a
He's
different
offended.
if I think it would have just been a different conversation. If she had big breasts and it was on display like that, and I don't know this is an assumption. Trust me, it's an assumption, because he literally could have been like, "Woohoo! Yeah, look at how everybody looking at my girl," or he could
There are
have been
guys like that,
conversation of,
Mm.
I didn't like the way that you just had yourself all out like that.
Yeah.
I know a lot more guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
this dude
that's-
right here, this
Yeah,
dude right
well,
here,
most
you ain't
men I
not
know
getting
are
out the
beat.
house. You not
How you
getting
gonna
out the
tell?
house.
How you gonna hold
Y'all
somebody
can
hostage?
judge me. You
How
can
you gonna
judge
hold
me.
somebody
We
hostage?
ain't going. We ain't
They
going.
can go
But
any.
you know what? But here's the thing, Tracy. I hear what you're saying.
Do
No, I
it.
know, sister told you. Go for it.
I
But
would
here's
know
the
that's a
point.
boundary of yours beforehand. Piers, no?
Exactly what Anna just said. because the pairing that I would have is with a woman who knows that about me and vice versa.
Who knows you
and
like
it's
to
a
take
limit we wouldn't touch.
hostages?
Hostage.
Oh my God!
He said,
Crazy.
I was
Come
strongly
on.
believing that is taking hostages.
That is not taking.
We ain't going.
hostage.
But here's the thing, right? I'll say, no, this ain't happening, right? And then she'll be like, I'm doing it anyway, and then go. All right. That was your decision. You know how I am.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not here when you get back, that's your problem too. That's gonna be yours. That's how it works. So if you want to go one-upsmanship, we've had these conversations where everybody want to escalate. That's cool. But the thing is, when you're in a relationship, you know your man, you know your woman. Or you know your man, you know your man, you know your woman, you know your woman, or you know your non-gender assigned, right? You know your partner.
You know your person, your partner. Thank you.
Okay? You know your partner. And if you don't know your partner in certain respects, if you truly care about that person, you about to learn some things as you cross new bridges.
And in a marriage, we've because trust me, Foxy done some things, wore some things. I'm like,
she looked too good in them, didn't she? And you didn't like it.
Right, whatever. Okay, let's put it that way. She looked too good at it. And I'm like this. You could go out however you want to. You're a grown woman. Okay, now you home. We still gonna talk about this.
Yeah, now, you want to go to war, let's go to war.
You can
go.
However you want to. I don't mean I'm gonna shut up about it. I'm going to talk about what the hell did I just see you walk out?
Maybe she wants your
And it
attention.
works.
That's why she addresses like that.
Oh, you want my attention, you do that in the house. You want us their attention, you do it out there. And it works both ways. Oh, I don't do things that I know she does not like. I don't do things that I know would reflect negatively in her mind. Yep. Whether it's socially acceptable, whether I could get away with it when I walk out the door, whether any of that stuff, it is irrelevant. That is my person. And I'm going to make sure that I operate in such a way that she is comfortable and is okay with. And if we don't, then we're going to have a butting of heads, and either we're going to come to a new understanding. Well, we're going to come to a new understanding. We've been together this long. We're just going to have to come to a new understanding. But no,
renegotiations do happen in long-term relationships. Absolutely.
There ain't so much renegotiations as she gets her way, and I just find a way to go deal with it. It's got to be.
That's not a renegotiation, Thea. Let's talk about that more.
That's why when Tracy was talking about the hostage situation, I'm the hostage. You know what I'm saying? But I'm well taken care of here. They keep me fed, and I get to go outside and play. And
lets me go.
I am happy here. Everything is fine.
This is sad. This is sad.
Yes, if you need help, blink twice.
Blink,
okay?
blink once if you're okay. Blink twice if we see help.
I said that I am good here. They treat me well.
Did I say
Much love to your wife, sweetie.
I love my wife.
Where is she?
Yeah, I'm like, where's she at? She got that cute card printer.
Wait, you can't wait. Y'all can't talk over him because he's trying to hear her instructions on what he can say next.
That's all I'm trying to do. I love my wife.
Stop being weird.
I'm gonna stop being weird now.
Yep, she was wearing that tight dress, and you was just like, nah.
I don't know, Parker. I don't know if it was good to show up at. Oh, I already read that one. I'm sorry. Cake Thins, only a particular flavored cake with a particular ice and LOL. Ever have a mayonnaise cake? Laugh from my.
That's a real thing.
Oh,
that's a real thing.
It probably is.
Are you kidding
the mayonnaise
me?
people
It's
ain't
a real
right.
thing.
The mayonnaise people ain't
no,
right.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Real deal.
Ew.
This negotiation. Now you sound like Biden.
Right, Mickey? That's right. I didn't think of that one.
All right, everyone. I'm gonna have to skip the second the second Am I the A-hole? Because we'll be going a little overboard. So we're going to go to Real or Nah. Now, I'm gonna leave everybody to go ahead and get you relaxed and everything, but because this is kind of long, it's 4 minutes long. But I have to play the whole thing, and I'm just gonna let you know that yeah, I don't believe this.
I work as a security guard for one of the few hospitals in our city. Besides dealing with combative patients and visitors and doing patrols around the campus, we occasionally get asked to assist with getting people out of their vehicles and escorting them by wheelchair to the emergency department or their appointment at an on-site clinic. Today, a couple of nurses came to our office asking for our help. They had received a call from a gentleman who we will call Gerald, asking for help to get out of their car, as he was in severe pain. I went out with the nurses, pushing a wheelchair and radioing my partner to come assist, as it sounded like it was going to take some extra hands to help him out. It took a little bit for us to find him, but we found him thanks to him blowing his car horn for all to hear. Now, I have interacted with dramatic people before, and this guy was no different. He told us all about how he was in so much pain, how he drove himself all the way over here and couldn't move the car anymore, and how he needed to be treated. We tried to offer help, but he refused to grab our arms or hands to steady himself, relying on the car door and the wheelchair to get himself in it. Once he got himself settled, he asked me to move the vehicle to a better parking spot. After all, he had handicap stickers and he needed the space to get in when he finished his visit here, so I obliged, feeling a little bit odd about the whole situation, and moved his car to a handicap spot near the ED entrance. Gerald got checked in at the ED and we were done with the situation. At least that's what I thought. Boy, were we wrong. Not even 20 minutes later, I get told that this guy wanted to leave and wanted us to take him back to his car. Apparently, he started complaining and moaning about how the wait time was too long. Keep in mind that there were people in the waiting room who had been there for hours. The ED was very full today, and this guy couldn't stand being there for even just a few minutes. I first checked with ED staff because I was worried about the fact that he himself said he couldn't drive. They told me that since they hadn't triaged him and he wanted to leave so soon, they legally couldn't hold him here even if they wanted to, which they didn't care that much since they were already busy with treating their patients. So I went back out to the ED and I asked him point blank if he was really sure he wanted to leave, because I didn't want to be held responsible in case he drove and got into an accident. But he said yes, he wanted to leave right then and there. So I reluctantly pushed him out of the ED and towards his car. This is where my malicious compliance begins. Gerald starts saying, verbatim, "When we get to my car, I'm gonna call the ambulance." Me, "Wait, what?" Gerald, "Yeah, gonna call an ambulance. I can't drive, and I don't like anyone here except for you. They're too slow here, and I'm not gonna spend all night here. Besides, calling an ambulance will get me to a room quicker, and I can get help with my pain." Me, "So you want to call an ambulance to take you to the ED when you're already here at the ED? And all that because the wait time is too long for you?" "Yeah." Me, "You realize that if you call an ambulance, they may just take you back to the waiting area and have you wait there, right?" "Yeah, I know that. I'm still gonna call." Well, okay, if that's really what you want to do. So after helping the guy to his car, I decided to let him do just that. At that point, there was nothing else I could really do. After all, I'm just a security guard, not his doctor. So I just pushed the wheelchair back inside and went about my business. About 30 minutes later, I'm looking at the security footage, and right there next to the guy's car is an ambulance. My jaw dropped. The guy actually called 911 for an ambulance, and they came. I continued to watch as the EMT workers helped this guy into a gurney and placed him into the ambulance. Then, to my utter shock, they drove off campus. I had thought they were going to drop him off back here, but they left for another hospital. I then realized a couple of things. One, this guy's going to another hospital and going to be gone for who knows how long. Two, when he gets discharged, he's not going to have a ride home because, you guessed it, his car is here at the hospital. Plus, our policy is that if a car is parked in our lot for longer than a few days and we've confirmed that the owner is not here, we have to call the police and report an abandoned vehicle. So this guy is now getting additional costs added to his medical expenses because he took the ambulance, possibly has to wait even longer in another ED before he can even be seen, and he may rack up some fines for abandoning his car, depending on how long it's there. All because he didn't want to wait in the ED with everyone else. But hey, I guess 20 minutes was way too much for him.
But wait, there's more.
There ain't no more to that. Even if it is, I don't want to play it.
Well, I want to say this real quick, because I have a lot of people in my family who deal with chronic pain. It's hard to quantify or quite relate to the decisions that a person will make when they deal with that type of pain, especially if he's someone who does have chronic pain. For him to say that he's in a lot of pain, it's a lot of pain. So his decisions may not be rational to what we would say. And so from that standpoint, I understand, or I at least accept what he decided to do. Now, outside of it, of course, you have now, inconvenienced an emergency team that could have been helping someone else. You've now created a situation at the hospital that you were already at just because you couldn't wait a little bit longer after already waiting to get there. So like on the outside, logically, from a business standpoint and the operations of a facility, you can see all the stuff that's wrong with this. But from a human standpoint, it's really hard for me to get in his head there. And then the only other thing, so he's the security guard, and he's saying, well, if the car stays here for more than a couple of days, they're gonna, I have to call and have it towed. That is weird to me. I understand the rules.
I thought
but
that was a little weird
wouldn't you
too.
then call your leadership and say, because it's going to come back, right? If this car gets towed, this is coming back, okay? So if I was security, I would call my leadership or whomever who can advocate for me with the hospital and say, hey, here's the situation.
What should we do?
I have firsthand knowledge of this person being picked up and taken away. I don't know what happened after he got taken away, but I know where his car is because I had to park it for him, right? I'm gonna put all my cards are going on the table, because if that thing gets towed, that man is gonna file a complaint. It's gonna come back to me, and the first thing they're gonna want to know is, why did you move that man's car? That is not within your rights or responsibilities or whatever. And then two, he's gonna want to sue the hospital because now he's got charges for his car sitting in the impound lot somewhere. So that part, yeah.
So what do you say?
I would say real, because I've seen people act out of character for less.
Okay. Anna?
Real. As somebody who experiences chronic pain, when you say you're in a lot of pain, it means something else. It means we have gotten to a point where we just can't take it anymore. And we take it every single day. So yeah, I get it. And I do also get the calling of an ambulance. Now, my own personal choice probably would have been to go back home and call. But like Thea said, you cannot get into somebody else's head when they are in so much pain. All you want is some relief. All you want is to get back to some kind of normalcy. Like I used to be able to do things before it hurt me to literally sit down. One time my dog bumped me. I kind of just fell on my butt on the couch. I ended up crushing a couple of vertebrae from that. And it took me a couple of days to explain to my caregiver properly the amount of pain that I was going through in my back. It wasn't going away. And this was more. This was something else. That was a really difficult for me to get it out of my brain and to communicate just exactly what was going on. Everybody sees me in pain every day. You see me go on. Every single time I'm on this show, I'm in pain. It's just, that's what chronic means. My back, down my left hip, and left leg. I have had times when that left leg just dragged. I was partially paralyzed. I've been in a wheelchair. I have been the person who said, no, I can do this myself, thank you, and gets myself from the car to the wheelchair. Or I have myself, I have a routine with my caregiver, so I wait and we do our thing. That might seem obstructive to some, especially in a hospital setting. But if you want to get me help, you do need to listen. And unfortunately, that poor guy was just, I want some relief from this pain. And I am willing at this point to do anything.
All right. So what do you say?
Oh, I said real right off the top, so sorry.
All right, Tracy.
I say real. Our emergency, our healthcare system is trash. I know that's not what this story is about, but it's trash. We got too many people using emergency rooms for primary care when they should be going to a regular doctor. Well, because they can't afford to go to a doctor, they use the ER, and then that makes the people who have chronic pain, who have high insulin, high sugar levels, have to wait for care that they critically need. That's the first problem. Second problem is that the insurance, to even call an ambulance, this guy isn't going to just have that problem. If he's uninsured, he's going to have a whole lot of problems. But if he's lucky enough to have insurance, every time you call an ambulance, that's a $1,500 copay. If you are lucky. If you're one of the lucky ones that have health insurance, that's a $1,500 copay that man had to go through. He's in pain. That's all he cares about. And that should be what he cares about. But we need to look at the whole healthcare system. He needs to be treated by a doctor so that he's not having to cart off to the ER every time for chronic pain. This kind of thing doesn't make sense. The ER should be for you're having a baby, you had a heart attack, you got shot, something that's urgent, not just
something sudden.
Something sudden. Thank you.
We do need chronic care centers.
No, I'm not saying we don't, but I'm saying we shouldn't. He shouldn't have had to go to the ER for that care. He should have been monitored by a doctor to treat his chronic pain, so he wouldn't have to go to the ER. Now I no, because you get it. He's in pain. Hey, that's the first thing I'm doing. When my blood sugar hit 750, I was like, oh no, y'all got to come get me. Period. No matter of fact, I drove myself to the hospital. I literally drove myself to. I know, but I was just like this man. You aren't rationally thinking. I was not rationally thinking. What I should have done was park the car, call the ambulance, and go. But I was like, nope, I'm driving. So I just drove to the ER, parked my car, and then said that. And I get where he's at, because when you're in that kind of pain, when you're in that kind of everything hurts, thinking is out the window. You're just thinking, I'm in pain and somebody's got to help me.
Yeah, and I know that's not where this was going, but Tracy, you hit on something that I'm very sensitive about. You know, if this person qualifies for Medicaid, then he'll be spared the ambulance cost, which would probably lower his threshold for when he would use them like a taxi service versus something else. Right. But get this though.
That's a big old if, because you got to be
that's a big if, but
to qualify for Medicaid.
It's not even a big if. It's not even a big if, because if he's got a serious disability, which he most likely does, given how the story was told,
check certain boxes.
Qualify for Medicaid. But the thing is, what it takes to be on Medicaid is so extreme, right? You have to be at like a death's door, or you gotta have like full-on kidney failure, or it's gotta be something really big to get there. But here's where I want to transition a little bit.
Yeah.
And Tracy, I know you're probably gonna take this and run a different way with it. But look at what just happened in Washington. Now, granted, when you balance out everything that happened with the debt versus the budget thing, nothing really changed that much. I mean, it changed on some of the margins, but Biden did a good job keeping it in the rails, so to speak. But the fact remains, where were they negotiating? They weren't negotiating on revenue taxing the people who could afford to pay more taxes. They were negotiating on the people who can barely afford to survive in this society. They're negotiating on people on Medicare, Medicaid, and things like that, because that's where a significant part of this country would say to this man, you should have saved up more. You should have had this or that or whatever. You just got to figure it out. And I'm like, the medical expenses, Tracy, I know you know this. I did it from having to deal from Medicare sales and services.
If you are disabled, you are exempt from any work.
Not
only that, but I was saying the cost of one medication can be $1,000 a month.
Oh, insulin is $1,500. Imagine taking 2 of those. That's $3,000.
But I'm saying if you don't have insurance costs, or even with insurance, you can have $1,000 prescription cost.
That's what I said.
At least if you have insurance, your insulin, you can get it for like $40, which it shouldn't even be that expensive. But the stuff that people who are in like full on like it's not scleroderma, it's the other one, where all your nerves are literally fighting against each other. You know what I'm saying? Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia?
Right? Yeah, fibromyalgia.
Man, those costs would be ridiculous.
I have that diagnosis.
Ridiculous. Cancer.
That's why I said our whole thing. I absolutely believe the story about the security guard driving the car. I've seen it happen. It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen it happen. So I'm like, yep, believe it. Absolutely.
And I do honestly think that our healthcare needs some chronic care centers, because when we go to an ER, we are really mistreated. They don't know how to help you when...
Yeah, they'll just tell you to wait your turn.
That's not what they're there for. Let's just be real about it.
Exactly. That's what they were saying. The whole system is terrible. There? Because whether you have insurance or whether you don't, you're still getting worked. If you have insurance, you're going to have a super high deductible, which means you're going to have to meet it out of pocket. And if you don't have insurance, yes, you could qualify for Medicaid, but good luck with that. That's what, a 6, maybe 8 months waiting time? Maybe.
And then let's say you go to the hospital. All right, you go to the ER.
You probably have a 2-year waiting around.
And you're a chronic care patient. Okay, you're a chronic care patient. That means you only work with specialists.
Right.
So that means just to see your mainly. you work with like your primary, and then you got like certain specialists who help you with certain things. At least that's how it is for my mom and my brother and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's how it is.
you to get to the specialist you need, that can be you got to schedule that a week out or whatever that
A week?
rotation is.
Oh no! A
If
specialist
you're on
is
a
at
if
least
you're on a if you're on an established
months.
schedule,
Months.
that's if you're calling because hey, I need. I'm saying, but normally, like with my family, they're on a rotation where they have to show up at this frequency, so it's not that thing. But if you're
Wow.
trying to get to somebody in between your window, you can't get to them, right? So you go to the emergency room. I'm doing gunshots, heart attacks, and what is it, neonatal stuff, and you sit here talking about you in pain.
Yeah.
But I see you all the time. You always in pain. Ain't nothing I can do. We'll give you a Demerol drip, and we ain't got the beds to spare. And it's just this twisted.
It's a sick
thing.
system. That's why I said it's a sick system.
Then we push you on to some opioids, and
what you get addicted to.
And
now
let
you
me
get
tell
locked into
you,
that system.
some high doses of vitamin C do wonders for chronic pain, but you don't have to go to opiates. There are some things you can do that,
but they'll send you there.
And that's what they do in ERs. Oh, we'll just give you.
Of
I
course,
tell you what,
because they're gonna try to
get you
as sick
anything
as they possibly
Yeah, they
can.
gotta get you.
They're under a.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when I had this is too much information I'm about to share, but it's gonna make a lot of sense. When I had my cycle pain, and it was so severe that I was vomiting. I was in I mean, I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm just like, no, I can't take this. I can't take this. I went to the hospital for the ER at least 5 or 6 times. The last time I went, which was 2 years ago, somebody was like, go see this person. I went to see that person, and they scheduled me a vaginal ultrasound, and I got diagnosed. And that diagnosis and that treatment, I'm like, why didn't somebody tell me this? I went through all of them years, all of that pain, all that vomiting and sweating and just being in so much pain that I would literally cry. Y'all know I don't cry. I don't cry. I don't care. I'm not gonna cry. I was crying. I can't imagine the pain that people like Anna go through. I can't even get to that. I can't imagine, because I literally thought, Lord, is this it?
We all have our own thresholds, so like worse. There is no comparison, really, Tracy.
No.
I really believe that your worst. I know that is an unbelievable. Like
I mean, it's just like I said, the healthcare system is sick.
And
it's
yeah.
like, yep. Because even if you have insurance, people say, "Oh, well, you got employee insurance. Yeah, good luck with that $6,000 deductible out of pocket that you have to meet." And that's if you get a good plan.
I will often say that Medicaid is actually a better health plan.
Medicaid is the better plan.
So many different things out there.
Because when I was on Medicaid, I didn't have to pay for my insulin.
No
I didn't have to
copay.
pay for my sensor. I didn't have to pay copays. I didn't have to pay out of pocket. Best plan I ever had. Worst plan, the one I'm on now. I'm like, how much is how much is supposed to $7,000? Where am I coming up with $7,000? Because if you know you're gonna be in the hospital, because I haven't been in the ER in 2 years for my diabetes. If you know you got specialists and neurologists and
you
kidney
will
doctors,
that.
You gonna meet it. But where you gonna get $7,000 from?
Exactly.
Where is this coming from?
Why are our doctors costing? I mean, there are some Lyme doctors that I contact out there. They quote thousands of dollars an hour because they do spend like 2 to 4 hours with you for the first time.
Oh, Mickey said she didn't get addicted. Mickey, you one of the lucky ones, because boy, I know some people get addicted to Oxycontin. Ooh, boy, they be on. I mean, they will literally move heaven and earth to get them some oxy. I mean, my pain was so bad they gave me Vicodin. When they give you Vicodin drips, That's when you know it's bad. It's like, wait a minute. I was like, no, just give me an ibuprofen because which I can't take either. But if you got all those specialists, like you said, you said it better than I could. Medicaid is the best system for us to have as a nation because it's just nothing. You just literally walk into your primary doctor, you get a referral, you go, that's it. You ain't got to do it. This system that this man and us is under, terrible.
Hey, Marlon, welcome back.
One, I'm not gonna give you my answer now because I don't want to look stupid, and two, because I have nothing to add to this conversation, so I took myself off on purpose. I literally was sitting here this whole time. I have no experience in this whatsoever, and I'm not on no ego trip to go. And
you were Foxy's caregiver when she went through her illness.
The only place where I had a little bit of a feeling was trying to, was it more addictive behavior? Or was he in pain?
Yeah, because
we will never know from the outside. We will never know.
Because sometimes you do have to doctor shop. I had to.
Yeah.
It took, like I said, it took me 5 years. And that if that one nurse had said, go to this person, I still would have been barfing and throwing up and in pain and all those things.
And sometimes the hospitals know what they're dealing with, and they will refuse to give you priority care because they know you're just shopping for medication.
Yeah,
so there's layers to all of it.
There are.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, it's just a bad situation. But America is having a hard time with it because it's the same issue we always have. You know, who gets to share in the benefits? That's the American story. Chase it out almost anything you want to. The moment you went through desegregation, the issue has, well, actually before that, the issue has always been in America, who benefits from it? Who gets to share in the benefits? If you said to conservative people that, hey, only people who act like you, like the red states, like what Trump was doing to people, would get the benefits, they'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see that because we work hard over here. We do things the right way over here, right? But then when you say, well, we're going to let the undocumented people get some too.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No,
I might let a few of them. I might let a few of them darkies up in here, but I ain't gonna do that one right there. You know, and it's just like, you know, can we be human? Let's do human, man. But whatever.
All right, let's move on, everybody. Another real or nah.
That's going to be really hard for you to break up. But
Sure is.
I'm so sorry.
We didn't know. We were like, well,
and I'm putting the whole freaking thing on. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
Hey, edit out the darkest statement. Edit that part out.
Ain't.
He's racist towards black people.
Easiest way to get out of jury duty. Yeah, I don't like black people. Sure don't. Nope.
All right, everybody. So we're going to move on to the next one. And like I said, I look at a lot of YouTube videos. The majority of it is it's studying. You know, studying. I let me go back to go forward. There are videos where the person is reading the Reddit stories, and that's all they're doing. And they've been reading, and they read, and they read, and they read, and that's fine. I show them plenty of videos of them people that's doing that. For some reason now, the algorithm of YouTube is making these people show their faces on camera because people are complaining that they're AI, and there are some videos who are like that. They lazy little people who type in the stories and the AI will read it out to them, and they put it on YouTube and get viewers. So, okay. So YouTube has decided that some people have to put their faces on AI to keep their channel.
That makes sense.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Yeah, that
Welcome
makes
to the new world.
So
I watched a really fascinating conversation on AI today.
So this is one of the guys that I listen to, and I like him because he has a character, Karen, and some of the stuff is so funny because he will go back and forth argue with his alter ego and stuff like that. It's really funny. This, however, is the funniest thing he ever done because he literally got real on this story in the middle of reading the story.
Have to pay at this machine. It legitimately pains me to write this one because I love this barbershop. My barbershop. I go here all the time with my sons. Always great haircuts. Today's malicious compliance has to do with trying to simply pay the bill. My son got his crazy 16-year-old haircut. His cut took a lot longer than mine, so I waited until both of us were done to pay. Then it was time to pay as my son walked towards me. I checked his cutout with cash in hand as I heard a man yelling, "Sir, sir, hey, you need to pay." Okay. I started to walk towards him with my clearly visible cash, but he wasn't looking at me. He said, "You can't not pay. You come over here and pay right now." I tried handing him cash. He slapped it out of my hand. He slapped my hand so hard that 2 of the bills fell out. Then he said, "You need to pay at this machine," slapping his hand hard on the machine. I was upset at this point and embarrassed because I could feel the awkwardness in the air. Enter malicious compliance. I was livid. I decided, hand still stinging, I'm choosing today to stick up for myself. I slapped my money the way he slapped my hand, directly on his machine. I kept picking the machine up, scanner, to look for a hole to put the cash into. I tried flattening it, bending it, folding it, whatever it took to shove this money into the machine. Then it finally happened. The man lost his mind. "Why did you not tell me it was cash? Why? Why?" I could have argued. I just stood there staring, knowing he would spin himself into a tizzy. He totally did, but not in the way I could have expected. He ripped my money, threw it in the air, yelled and walked away, pushing barber's chairs that... This is so fake. It's so fake. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on.
Why they gotta show those cute pictures of the fuzzy animals?
It's better than those car pictures where they're jumping between.
Yes, but I have to look away because I get distracted. I'm like, oh, cute animal. And then I stop listening to the story. So,
Like I just like the way that now we have some creators. It's just like,
oh, that's so fake, man.
That
Just
never happens at no barber shop. And of course, I know because I
I didn't
always go to
understand.
barber shop.
I'm mad at myself because I'm sitting here thinking, what machine and why are you so pissed off? Like, I don't get what is going on.
I like when he gave up and just scrolled through the story. That was
Yeah. And I read some of the stuff that he was saying through the story, and it was like he's hitting Bob. I slowed it down, Tracy, because I wanted to read what he was skipping over, and it just got worse because it was like, and he was knocking over barber chairs, and people were stealing the chairs, and then there was people that was holding him back, and he didn't know if he was. I'm like, oh yeah, this is bad. This is not real. This is terrible. It's actually terrible writing if you kept scrolling and reading. It's like I'm mad at myself, like I said, because I should have called it at. What machine are you talking
I
about?
want to know what barbershop because the ones I see ain't got no machine in it. You pay at the
No.
cash register. You'd be lucky if they have a thing that takes debit or credit cards.
I've had some that do debit and credit card because they can do it from their phone now. You know, they
Oh,
put
yeah,
the
you
little
can.
thing in, you can do it from your phone, but the majority of it is cash. But I'm like, what machine? And then he snaps the machine, and then he's folding the machine, and it's like,
I mean, if he had said a laundromat, okay, now you know I know about the laundromat
So
with
he
them
got
bad dollar
it.
bills.
And thank you to this dude. Just like,
He didn't show his face though.
Where's Anna going?
I don't know, but that's her dog.
Oh, hey, Sati.
Hey, Chauncey, how you doing?
Somebody was just looking so cute, or just had to say hello. I can show you cute fluffy animals too. See? Everybody got distracted. See?
He does.
Yeah, but you weren't telling a story.
You wasn't telling a story though.
Like a long, pointless, didn't make no sense story. Like,
and look, the camera thing you was doing be one of them camera things that you couldn't watch because you was just like up and
Yeah, I didn't know where I was. Sorry.
So it was like,
I was thoroughly confused by the whole story. So I ain't been to a barbershop since I was 20 years old. And I'm sitting there like, why is the language so chopped up? Is this just like being translated from another country, or like it was weird. The whole thing.
Like I said,
but I was believing it, so I don't know.
you believe the story about the machine in a barbershop?
Yeah, I mean, what? Every barbershop ain't like your corner barbershop.
I mean, I'm even talking about the nice ones.
Well, I told you, I ain't been in a barbershop in 20 years.
Like a credit card machine?
Not a credit card machine. He put the money. He had physical bills because he said he knocked the money in my hand.
But the guy who was going berserk was only expecting card payments. So when the guy was sitting there playing with physical money, he got mad because he felt like it was picking on him, and then he spun out of control. And that part I was still believing because people are flat out crazy. And they will go berserk over the dumbest thing.
But this is what was throwing me, Theus, was he was holding the cash out and the guy slapped his hand.
Yeah,
you gotta pay over here. You gotta pay over here. So you go to the machine and then you go, why you didn't tell me you were paying with cash? I'm like,
you saw it in his hand.
You saw it. You slapped the hand. You literally slapped the hand of the dude.
That's what made me
I'm just saying, I get it that it's not real because, like the dude said it wasn't and y'all say it isn't. So I mean, I agree with y'all, but I just don't place anything past people to do dumb stuff.
Well,
and people are so prideful. People are so prideful that they can sit there and see the money in your hand and still insist that reality is not happening to them.
Right.
And that you are twisting reality to piss them off.
Yeah. Hey, so you ripped up the money too? Like,
perhaps he should find another barbershop.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good fit. He needs to stop her.
Foster said, I'll find a real story.
Yeah, thank you.
Mafia video of the week. Mafia video of the week comes from our very own Parker. Now, let me go back to go forward because I like to give all credit to everybody. Anybody who watches the Ben Dixon show knows of DJ Exclusive James. He has a show on now by himself called Bearded Burnett Chronicles. And I guess the show is just him.
You mean Bubba?
Bubba.
Bubba, yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
He has his own show now where he just do what we do now and just show videos and they, make fun of the people and whatever and everything else. So Parker sent me a video of one of his shows and I just had to share it because it's funny as crap. Now, 2 warnings.
Hey, Bubba.
First, hey, Bubba. You all credit. Please go watch his new show. It is funny. I give all credit to them, Ben Dixon and everybody. It is a funny show. And Bubba is funny to begin with in a way.
He's a lovely guy. Lovely guy.
Bubba is off the chain, just funny. Two, this is very sexual, and I have to show the whole video in all its sexuality. I guess.
I'm so excited.
Wow.
I have to show the video in all its sexuality.
Foxy, I'm right with you.
The only reason I'm doing this is because of the irony of it, or the
like mother, like son, I never had.
It's just funny. So keep in mind, this video is of a woman who's explaining, I'm not finna rush for you. We got plenty of time before 12 o'clock. This video is of a woman in LSU. And the point of the video is her explaining why abstinence is very important. So keep that all in mind, that she is preaching abstinence. She didn't hit the mark when she decided the more that she talked, the more that the people was cheering.
You buy her one margarita, she will spread her legs. If you buy her 2 margaritas, she will pounce right on your penis. After 3 margaritas, she will grab your penis and put it in her mouth. 4 margaritas. 4. She will grab your penis and ram it right up her anus.
What happens after
2, 3, 4, 5. She will strap it on and peg you.
Ooh, she don't know how to read a crowd. She do not know how to read a crowd.
She was doing it on purpose. There's no reason she would go that far numbers. She was in on the joke.
She had to be. She had to be. She had to be, right? I'm gonna have to agree with Theus on this one.
No, it's legit. I mean, it's 100%. That was her doing her joke. She was being funny.
So she was a troll then.
No, she was doing it to be funny. I mean, if you say she was a troll, then she's picking on the like ultra conservative people who would dress the way she was dressing, like that. Because she was dressed kind of like an ultra conservative people, and so that was all part of the bit. It was all part of the bit. Like a real person who is that cloistered, they would never even be able to talk that way. They just wouldn't. Like by the time they got to number 3, they'd have been like, "You're all going to hell," you know. It would have been over, you know. But she went all the way out to like getting number 7, and I'm like, "Yo, that's what, you know. I'm gonna get off. I missed my stop. I missed my stop. So can we take me back to 6? Okay. I was supposed to get off at 6, but y'all continue on your ride to 7, and I don't know where the hell 8 gonna take you. 8 gonna be something else.
If y'all have to do that many drinks to get to that event, I'm so sorry.
I'm sitting here like she gonna be tired. I mean, did she get a break in between any of these steps?
I don't know.
She got to be dehydrated.
Dude, water's very important.
Drinking margaritas
or chafing. Oh my goodness, you imagine the chafing. Oh.
Ow.
Hope she brushed her teeth too, because
you say hell, she was getting me excited. I got to look at it. You said you have to play the song part of it too if you have it.
The song part of it?
I didn't look at it. The rest of it. I still have the video in my Hotmail, so I'll look it up and maybe I'll play that next week. I didn't know there was more after that, so I'll play the song about it.
Either that, if this is fake, I'm hoping she was trolling. Because if she was
I
really
really
serious,
do, because the whole concept was that it was supposed to be she was preaching abstinence.
but
And
she
if
never
this
said
is
it.
correct,
Well,
then she
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
If this
Well,
is
they
correct,
could-
and she said what she said, that was trolling. That she like, oh, I'm telling you that what I'm preaching is abstinence, but everything I know, you're gonna cheer for and hoorah. Otherwise, I have to believe what Tracy said. Lady, you don't know how to read the crowd.
yeah, and she's
because
serious. She don't know how to read a crowd. I'm
It's
like,
one
ooh,
of the
lady,
two.
no, that ain't
She
it.
was totally comfortable with everything she was saying.
was
Come
saying it.
on.
Yeah, somebody who is really trying to preach that stuff, they wouldn't be comfortable.
They would stop at one. They'd be like, well, this is the way it should be. And then they would just stop. They wouldn't go through.
Yeah.
And who's to
that I
say,
agree with.
not that I would know, but does margaritas really get people that drunk? I have no idea.
Depends on the person.
Depends. Yeah, it
on the
very
But some
depends.
people have made poor decisions on Patron.
Right.
Is that the same as a margarita?
Isn't that what goes in it? Don't tequila go in a
Don't
margarita?
know.
or
I'm
vodka?
asking you.
Remember, Tracy doesn't know anything about
Yeah,
drinking.
you act like I know what you're talking about, and I'm just like,
I don't know. I don't mix drinks. So I'm the guy that'll be like, literally, I drink an old fashioned. I drink cranberry and vodka. I drink Red Bull and vodka, or I drink a dark lager for like a beer. Other than that, I'm the one who goes and I'm like, strike up a conversation with the bartender lady and be like, yo, give me something good that ain't too fruity. And whatever they put down, I drink.
Water?
I don't got
Whatever they put down, I drink it.
I don't drink liquor anymore. It's
But beer is liquor.
beer is
No.
Beer is not
Wait a
liquor.
minute.
There are very
How
beer
old do you
is
have to be to
alcohol. The
legally
closest thing you
drink
can
it?
say is beer is alcohol. Liquor is alcohol.
very,
They're
very
the same.
different.
I guess this is my
No,
thinking.
no, no,
They're
no,
the
no,
same.
no.
The difference between
Do you
spirit
have to be 21
and
to drink
alcohol.
it? But
Yeah.
do you have to be 20?
Well, it depends on where you are, but yeah.
You have to be 21 to get cigarettes.
Yes.
19
You
in
have to be
Canada.
21 to get cigars.
I don't know. I've never bought cigars.
And then a lot of people
Cigars
start
are not
drinking in their
cigarettes.
teenage years.
Cigarettes are not cigars.
Yeah.
So please don't.
But they
use
both
it.
have nicotine in them.
No, it don't. Cigars do not have nicotine in it. Yeah, I know this is shocking people.
Really?
Cigars do not have
I
nicotine.
thought cigars had
tobacco.
nicotine. Yeah, that's what I
They have
thought.
has
tobacco.
tobacco.
They don't have nicotine. Nicotine is a chemical for cigarettes. They don't have a chemical in cigars.
Well, how come your doctor be saying don't smoke cigars?
Well, the reason they don't want you to smoke cigars is because cigars will give you throat and mouth cancer, but cigarettes will give you lung cancer.
But when
So cigars, you don't actually take all the way into your lungs. At least you're not supposed to. Cigarettes is
unless you Marlon getting that look on his face.
Unless you're me. So yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I thought the
Well, the stuff I
technical
don't.
name of tobacco was like nicotine.
That's what I thought.
I'll put it to you this way: the only similarity between a cigar and the cigarettes is tobacco, but that's it. Anything else is totally different.
Yeah, they're wrapped in a leaf. They're
cigarettes are wrapped in paper, but cigars are wrapped in leaves.
right.
Now that much
Unless
I
you get a
knew.
cigarillo. A cigarillo is wrapped in paper, I think.
Cigarillos are wrapped in like bubblegum wrap because them
Beaties.
things are cheap.
Beaties are in eucalyptus leaves.
They do. You get cigarillos for like 50 cents. I'm like, y'all selling them like that?
Yeah, they sell them like that because
That's
they know you're going to
terrible.
take it back to your car or back to your apartment, and you're going to cut it open and you're going to stuff it with weed.
Liquor has like 40 to 50% alcohol. Beer has like 4%. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the
That's why people can sit there and drink a whole 6-pack.
yeah.
I don't know how anybody. I'm like, they'll be like, man, because I work with a bunch of good old boys and stuff, and they'll drink a whole. They'll be like, yeah, I drank 6-pack or whatever. I'm like, I can't drink that much liquid. Like I'll be tired of drinking it by the second beer. I don't want no more.
I read this before. When you drink enough alcohol, or when you get used to drinking enough alcohol, you're not in control anymore. So I know when you're saying when I can't drink that much anything, you're not in control anymore. So the alcohol is in control. So yes, you can drink me more and more and more and more. You're not in control anymore.
You are if it's beer.
Beer.
I mean, I know you're feeding your addiction, right? So I guess, like you're saying, you're gonna chase your tolerance level. But it's just when I drink beer. Now, this is me because I'm not an alcoholic, but I drink beer as a social thing or just to like say I had something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm just social, then I can drink a beer. Not a light beer because it's like drinking nasty water, but I can drink a beer. If I just want some type of alcohol, but I don't have none around, I can grab a beer. But the most I can do is like 2. After that, I don't even want to taste it. It's bad enough. It's hard enough to get through the first one.
And then you decide to have a second one?
And you start off the
because it takes 2 to feel the buzz.
Yeah,
For
apparently,
me to feel any level of buzz, I gotta get at least to the second beer. The first beer ain't gonna do nothing.
I keep wondering, how did I get to this age and say, I don't know what it tastes like?
You are not a drinker.
Yeah.
Say what?
Good for you.
If you got to get to it,
No,
if
I
the
don't want to
second
say
beer
good for me,
is the thing that got you to a buzz,
good for you.
You're not a drinker. And good for
I know,
you.
but I used to be a drinker.
No, I don't want nobody to think, oh, that's a shot at No.
No, I agree.
Congrats.
Because like my progression with alcohol is an interesting thing. So in my family, there's history of alcoholism, which I guess in most black families there's probably some history of alcoholism. But anyway, in my family, it's only one generation back, right? So I grew up in a household. Like I said, I grew up in the Cosby household. We ain't had the money, but no one cursed. We discussed and we got through things. The discipline and the expectations were very clear. And never saw my parents drink. I saw my dad drink 1 beer when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And then never again. So that's the world I grew up in. But I knew that the generation before me, like my grandfathers and stuff, they were really, they got in it. So I went off to college. I was in college the first time I drank anything, right? Well, correction. I was around 5 or 6 when I took a sip of my dad's beer that one time, and it was so revolting that in my head, I was like, if this is what alcohol tastes like, I don't want none of this.
I didn't drink champagne and I was like, really?
Right? It's like, you want this?
Why? Right? You do this voluntarily.
So I got to
Let
college.
me put myself on mute because I have literally nothing to add to this conversation.
Yeah. No, I got to college and that was the first time I tried to drink. I was like 18, and we got all the bottom shelf stuff, Mad Dog, Wild Irish Rose, like this rock.
245.
What it's called.
That's the only
we
one
ain't drink
I know.
that. That's malt liquor. We ain't do that.
But that's high up.
But we would.
Oh,
I mean, no, malt liquor is disgusting. It's.
No, I mean it's more expensive and. So
yeah, but it's disgusting.
That's
malted beer. That's disgusting.
Malt liquor has the tendency of just wind up being just liquor. But I got a question for everybody.
If it's about liquor, don't ask me because I'm be like,
I'm not. I am, but I'm not.
Tobacco. Active ingredients.
Okay. So I was trying to figure out, well, we still talking about the lady that was talking about abstinence and how the hell did we get on this subject? But I realized that she was talking about margarita, so that's how we wound up on this subject. So yeah, for anybody that's new to the show, please keep up because we will do this in a heartbeat.
Sure will.
We can change a subject like you have never seen before.
Source plants.
You sounded like Trump right there.
Oh dear.
What?
Like you've never seen before. You've never seen before.
It's everywhere. It's everybody.
The people are saying, no, nobody's saying.
The people are talking about, and it's everywhere. You can find it anywhere on the internet if you go to like the 18th.
People are saying
People are
Yeah.
saying. My people are saying.
Mm.
Their people are saying. I know some people who have.
Okay. I just had to look that up because nicotine is in
It's
tobacco.
tobacco. That's what. Yep, that's what I thought. Nicotine is in cigar. That's what I thought.
It is a
Okay, well, no. Cigars, like cigarettes, contain nicotine, a substance that can lead to a tobacco dependence. A single
Yeah,
full-size
the
cigar can
addictive
contain
part.
nearly as much nicotine as does a pack of cigarettes. Oh, well, I ain't going to stop, so there you go.
I
Wait a minute, did they just
mostly have.
compare a cigar to a pack of cigarettes?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes, they
Because
did. Yes.
they did say doing hookah is like doing a whole pack of cigarettes. So doing a cigar makes sense. It's about half a pack. So they're saying it's like it's a whole pack. Because I know it's a lot more tobacco and nicotine you're pushing in your body. It's just a different way of doing it. You know, it's beer versus you know,
Okay,
what we're talking
now
about.
we're going. No, go back to Parker's because now we're going to sound real stupid. What is shotgun?
I hear this on a massive amount of liquor thing. I think shotgunning a beer is one of the top
I'm
10
asking what
dumbest things ever
shotgunning
invented.
is.
I ain't shotgunning
Down a lot.
what?
Just all
Like
in one.
you
So
just.
Right?
So it's not something I've ever done, but I've seen some of my white friends do it. What you do is real quick, if this is what it is, you take a can of beer, you poke a hole in it with a pin or something, and you put that up against your mouth. Then you pop the top. The pressure forces the beer down, and you're supposed to just take it in as fast as you just take
And
it
you
in.
could cut yourself.
That's
You can't cut yourself. You can't
That's
cut yourself
your
because
issue.
I
when
thought
you
it was
poke
just the side.
when
I
you
mean,
poke
this
the
just
can,
sounds.
it goes inward.
But
The point
again, how am
of
I
it,
supposed to
But you
know
can
these
drink the
things?
beer within
You're
seconds
not,
instead
Tracy.
of like the
yeah,
other way.
the point of it is that you get the alcohol in you a lot quicker. That's the whole mentality of shotgun. A shot, if you
Now,
want to break it
shotgunning
down,
with weed is a little different.
shot is this tall.
That little bitty thing, the little bitty
It's
glass,
a little
thing.
and
glass.
then
But the
you
whole
Yes.
just
point of, but the
now
whole
that
point of it
I've
is
seen people
you're
do it.
supposed to just shoot it back compared to a
Yeah,
drink that
like
you sip,
what do they call them? Putting
throughout the day.
not putting shots, Jello shots.
A Jello shot, yeah.
Oh, that's
Just
dangerous.
yeah. I'm a I'm a cheap drunk. I drink so seldom that 1 minute drink sipping over a long period of time, and I'm smart. And believe it or not,
Yep.
some alcoholics, that is how they get their alcohol. They are cheap drunks. They would take a drink and they would sip it throughout the day. Unfortunately, not throughout the day. Sorry. Unfortunately, when I say they drink like
I say that's a functioning alcoholic.
yeah, they drink for hours on end.
We call that the Giuliani.
Yeah.
That was my biological father, actually, and for most of my life, I had the theist. I didn't ever see my parents beyond a little bit of champagne or something. Alcohol was not a part of our life.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at. I mean, I'm just like I'm trying to
Well,
remember
see,
if I
alcohol
ever
wasn't part of my life because
Then
my
I got
grandfather, because of the alcoholism on one side of my family. So that was why they were so turned off to what, like my dad grew up in the hood and all that. So they were so turned off from seeing how alcohol and chemical dependency can throw somebody off that they wouldn't let anywhere near their kids. And, you know, and I'm a rule follower. That's what I am. So
My
I
gosh,
was like,
there are
yo,
a
I
lot of
tasted.
parallels. That's really funny. There's a
minute,
lot
did
of
Parker
parallels
just-
between our family.
Yep. Did Parker just crack me in his comments?
I'm sorry?
What
No,
happened?
I'm reading the comments that
LOL, and that's more than Tracy has drank her whole
Drank
life.
her whole life.
Drank, but Jabank.
Drabank. I'm pretty sure
Drabank.
you said drank, but
Yes.
okay,
Parker
Parker.
all right,
Don't make me
Parker.
pull up this video. I'll pull it up again. See,
But I guarantee y'all, please do not smoke cigars because I just learned that it has a whole bunch of nicotine in it.
yeah, And as he's smoking his cigar,
As he lights up
as
another.
he lights it up.
But it's very, very hard for some
That's his
people.
thing. He ain't gonna just quit because somebody gave him a piece of information in the video.
Nope, he's not.
But
y'all know me so well. Thank you.
And it's the new and cigar smoking is like the new middle class black thing. Like in the last like 15 years, like going smoking a cigar
bars.
just seems to be like, yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, the drinks be good at them joints, man. But the problem is you come out, unless you go to one that's got a really good ventilation system. Whatever you were wearing, you ain't wearing that no more that week. You better go ahead and take that
But
and
the
take it to the
smell
dry
of
cleaner.
unlit cigars is so good. I'm like, how is this bad?
See, to me, pipe tobacco smells good.
It's got a
cigars
sweet
can
smell.
good.
It depends on what you get, and the majority of them are for that reason.
Yeah, please,
it
y'all don't come
smells
on here
good,
smoking no pipes. Please do not smoke pipes.
Tobacco pipes, not the other.
No, I'm talking about the tobacco pipes. They are the most
Oh.
annoying. They make me think of Popeye the Sailor Man. I don't know why, but they just do.
He was a hero.
Sailor Man spoke to. My parents always had a small glass, about 4 ounces of wine with dinner. My
my grandparents did.
My maternal grandfather made his own bourbon and would give us each 10 cents, and we would drink about 2 ounces of it, and it was horrible.
My great
I'm going to let you know something about. No, I better rethink what I was about to say. I was about to say the majority of the time when you drink alcohol from the beginning, it's the most disgusting thing you ever had. But
Then you get used to
tolerate
it?
it and you get used to it.
You
But
do.
That's beer. That's
But
beer.
you also, it
But
tastes
I have
different
to
when
say
you're an
good
adult.
the first time.
But I have to admit that there are children who have parents who
Our taste buds are very, very different as a kid. They
and you have people who can like
have
for
not
me,
matured.
like for me, growing up looking at TV and y'all was talking about liquor and everything else, the Mad Dog 2020 and all those other stuff, and I see people who chug liquor back and I'm thinking, I cannot do that. Not a chance in the world. Any shot that I take of liquor will be taken with a chaser immediately.
Taken with
Really?
a what?
With a
See, I
chaser.
always
You
drank
can
my
drink like something else.
when I
So
was
you
younger.
cannot,
Wait a minute. So you drink liquor and then you drink something else?
Like a
so you don't have the taste.
Yeah.
Oh, this
You either
ain't making no
you know,
sense.
the language of alcohol is very, very close to the language of narcotics just because they're both drugs. Let's just be real about it.
Yep.
So if you think about it in
Real
that
about it,
respect,
alcohol is a drug. Alcohol is a drug.
Well,
That's
food is a drug
So
that's
also.
what I'm saying. But they're treated differently because one's regulated and one's not. But
Yep.
if you like when I was younger, I drank my alcohol straight. Period. You know, I didn't
What?
put stuff in it.
You didn't put nothing.
Then-
Okay.
Then as I got older, I would cut it. So now I'm cutting it with like Coke.
Something else. So you add
Red
something to
Bull.
something else.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But
Okay.
then people who can't handle shots or they just really don't like the burn if they're taking the wrong kind of shots,
Yeah.
they do a chaser. Because when you
Yeah.
take that alcohol back real quick, you're not tasting it. You're
That
taking it.
burns.
Well, it
Tracy.
burns coming
Yeah.
down. So you take
No,
you take a
it
chaser
makes,
and
it
just
makes me
move it out.
It makes me
Yep.
toxic. That's why I have to take a chaser.
Mm.
It burn. I can deal with the burn, and I have tried to fight my way through taking a shot, and I know it's burning, but okay, cool. But somewhere along the line, it's like I'm so nauseated that no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like
And
this,
there's when you
Then
take a
don't.
shot, I'm assuming you can't taste it. You're just chugging it for some reason or nothing.
It depends
because
on who you
there's a
are
lot
and how
of-
you
there's a
do
You
lot
it.
of
still
things
taste
where-
it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things where if you just take it where it just passes the back of your tongue down your throat, you won't taste it.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah, I'm not good at taking shots.
I did it.
Yeah, because
Like
people
you give
on
me a
the
shot,
videos look like
I'm
they
not
have
gonna
a
just
damn.
yeah. Now, cognac, you can give me a shot of cognac and I'll toss that all the way back, whether it be, a single or a double. But that's because the burn doesn't bother me. But generally speaking, though, I can't, like, people say, well, give me a shot, and they just do that. Now, I'm that cat that'll probably take two
I like
pulls
to sip.
before that shot is gone.
If I
just can't
ever
swallow that
indulge
much.
in alcohol, it's very rare because I'm on meds.
Oh,
I
kids
will
don't drink.
sip.
But
So
I think
yes,
it's
Yeah,
not
see, the
really.
it
sipping
is
makes more
very,
sense to me. I'm like,
very
that makes
rare.
sense. I'm like, okay, yup, got it. Everything else y'all talking about, I'm like, Can we talk about
Well,
football,
see,
please?
It don't
sipping
matter, Tracy.
alcohol
Don't.
depends on how you do it. Like, if you're doing a mixed drink and you sip on a mixed drink, that's a social moment, right? It's probably
Okay, like
fruity or sweet,
more like a daiquiri.
Yeah, and you're sipping on that or drinking on that, And a daiquiri, a frozen daiquiri, are cool anyway because it slows you down anyway because it's cold.
I end
But
up only doing like this much of the. Somebody else has to finish it. So
well, you just said you also have medications, so you can't be
I
mixing
really
alcohol
have.
with stuff
You
anyway.
Yeah.
You really gotta be careful.
But me, I don't even like drinking anymore. Like, the taste of it is wrong to me now. So I have to do it as a social thing.
I hear.
But I used to be a tank. I used to go out and just, it didn't matter how much I drank, I'd be
It
all right.
sounds expensive. I'm like, well,
It
it
is.
sounds
Can be
expensive.
very
I'm like,
expensive.
that
If you
don't
buy
sound like cheap.
It very much is.
if you buy drinks
is.
out in a club or something, whoo.
And it's not
Very
worth it no matter how much it is. It's just not worth it.
No.
The amount of money we spend on it ain't worth it. Because with alcohol, it triggers, it's not, we think it's dehydration, but it's something else. But it messes with your head, the alcohol, as it dries out your body and does stuff. The hangover sucks. So
Now I've heard of
and
that.
that's literally why I stopped doing. That's why I stopped doing liquor. Like, I could do beer, and
Which
the next
again,
day
I'm
I'm gonna
saying
be
it's
like,
liquor, but y'all
oh,
saying it's not.
because
it's
is.
in the family, but it's not the same
I
thing.
need you to sit back and learn.
It's
You
the
learn this stuff now.
baby brother
Beer and
to
liquor is not the
It's
same.
a sibling, but they're
It's
not the
it's
same.
I'll
the
put it this way.
baby brother.
I'll put it
It's
this way.
5%.
Beer is beer is the little sister of liquor.
There you go.
During the Great Depression, and actually back before they figured out how to like purify water effectively, they drank alcohol so they could get water.
Yep, that much I do know.
So,
That much I do know.
Mm-hmm.
Because water wasn't
So-
always the cleanest thing around.
Exactly. So you had to have like little 12-year-olds would have alcohol with their dinner, and because it was water.
Yeah, because water.
And in Germany, it's so socially acceptable. It's like Kinder beers and all kinds of stuff. They start teaching you how to drink beer when you're like 6 years old. They give you some non-alcoholic beer.
Exactly. It's non-alcoholic.
Stair steps you right on up. And by the time you're 14, you
I
drinking
don't
beer.
know about that, but
I think Germany and Italy, the drinking limit is either 15 or 16 with an adult. Their rule is so funny to me. I'm sorry, it's still laughable to me. You can drink at 15 or 16. I don't know which age, but either way, you can drink at 15 or 16 in Italy and Germany. One, you have to be with an adult, and two, it has to be with a meal.
But it's cultural.
It
is. And if
Yeah,
you
it
notice,
is
they got a
cultural.
lot of issues in Europe. They got a lot of issues in Europe. Everybody got some issues going on. But because they don't have the same access to lethality and their culture drives it a certain way, it's not like you transplant it to America. America couldn't do it.
No.
We got too many freedoms and not enough social controls. Because there are
And that's the
cultural and social
thing,
controls
though,
in
'cause-
Europe that make it you ain't gonna do this stuff.
But when you're looking from the outside, because I know there's not a lot of people like me, but when you're looking from the outside and you're looking in, it's like, dang, I missed all that. And then other times I'm like, ooh, I missed all that. Thanks.
You know what? When
you ain't missing nothing.
When you get to a certain age, Tracy, when you're in your 20s and everything else, you look at back in your life like, ooh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that. When you get into your late 40s and into your 50s, you realize I didn't miss Jack.
I do kind of feel like people do put and I'm just saying it from my opinion.
Yeah.
I think people do slightly put the pressure on non-drinkers to drink?
They do. They
They do.
absolutely
Yeah, they
do.
do. I
Okay.
agree with that 100%. Yeah,
Mhm.
they do that.
Because
Yeah.
people may look at
Not
me, you've
slightly.
never had a
They
drink.
do.
No, I've never had a drink.
Because they don't know.
Come on, we
because-
gotta show you how to drink. It's a
Okay,
social thing.
I'm gonna be realistic.
Yeah, but I can
and I'm
be
gonna-
social
and I'm
without
gonna joke.
alcohol.
I'm gonna be
I've literally
realistic
done
and
it
I'm
my
gonna
whole
joke
life.
about this real quick.
But
I
Joe,
had
people
like
don't
water
understand
in a
too.
nice glass, and it was great. Yeah, we all felt like nobody was the wiser.
Yeah, one of the reasons that they do it is because they want to see how you react when you're drunk.
Oh, you mean more
Mhm.
like when you said you want to get me drunk and cuss people out?
I don't think you would ever do it.
I don't think
I
you.
think
I don't
I
even
literally
think.
think you
It
have.
takes away your filter, but you have to have it inside you to say
Yeah,
it in the
but
first
but
place.
Tracy, your filter is like my filter is somewhat. And so let me explain. I have been drunk around my mom. I still can't cuss around my mom. Like it's not gonna work. Like even when I say hell, I kind of look at her like, okay, I need a duck. It's something in my filter or how I was raised where I just can't do it. And I've been like drunk around my mom where I just talk slurring words and everything else. I just can't do it. So when I pick on you and say, "Ooh, I can't wait for Tracy to get drunk so she can cuss," and ha ha ha, I still don't think you would cuss. You just have that struggle of filter. It is what it is. You've been raised for a certain amount of time for so long, it just doesn't work. It's you would slur, you would drag around, you would slumber and
Pass
everything.
out,
Pass
probably
out
get
and everything.
I think you would probably fall asleep.
We're probably gonna
No,
sleep.
because
Yeah.
diabetes and alcohol are
Tracy,
not
you would probably
friends.
you'd probably just fall asleep.
No, you're exactly right about that. You're right, Tracy. But
After
the
the
thing
world
about it is,
spins around you for about 50 million miles per hour, yeah.
but people basically, like Marlon basically hit it right on the head. It's the entertainment factor to other people. That's one piece of it. And then the other part is just, everybody wants to feel like what they're doing is the right thing. So come join us and do the right thing with us,
Right.
That's called peer pressure.
Peer
That's
pressure.
something that we
Exactly, right?
way back
The
when I was
first part
drunk.
of it is the first part of it is entertainment. The second part of it is to find a partner.
I mean, but peer pressure, we give it a bad rap. So peer pressure is not always bad.
It's not always bad, but in the case
Peer
of us,
pressure is how
it
you-
is.
Yeah, peer pressure is how you establish social and cultural norms.
Mhm.
But for me, for example, growing up, I was always, the quote unquote the smart kid, right? So my friends, no matter where I lived, because I moved a lot, I was always the one who was sheltered from a lot of the worst of things that would be going on. Like, nah, that's not for you, right? We gonna be doing this. You don't get to do that, right? Or if somebody will offer me something, no, he doesn't get that, right? And then like coming up as a young adult in my 20s, my homie, my best friend, my brother up here, he was my protector from that standpoint because he's from the streets, I'm from the suburbs, right? So he's a smoker. He's always been a smoker. Like he do the weed thing. I never smoked weed. I was the drinker. So he would make sure that I would have what I want as far as drinking, but he would never ever offer me weed
I got one thing
because
to say.
that wasn't for me.
Y'all realize y'all do that to me now, right? Y'all do that to me now.
Yeah, but that's what friendship circles are supposed to do. Like you shelter each other based on who that person is. Like when me and Marlon get to cursing real bad, we're not gonna sit there and say, "Come on, Tracy, you want to just drop the F-bomb one time." We might say it to pick at you. We might say it to pick at you, but we would never once really
Because
want
we know
you to
you're
do
not
it.
because you're not going to do it. And Tracy, you have said
Well, I
hell
wouldn't.
many
It's
of a
not because I
time.
don't think she would do it. It's because once she does it, she can't come back from it.
Sure can't.
So I'm saying, don't don't be me.
I
You
just
the
want
better
y'all
part
to
of me.
acknowledge
do
that
you.
you two, especially Marlon, Marlon, you shelter me from stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not fine. I'm not
sorry.
fine.
That is my job. I am supposed to shelter you from it.
Marlon, how old will I be next year? I will be 50 next year. I will be
Age don't mean
a
nothing.
century
And,
years
and,
old.
and,
You
and I'm
cannot
sorry.
shelter me. You
It
got
is
to
Age
stop
don't
that.
mean nothing.
Rephrase it
You
to you.
got
the
to
big
stop that.
brother.
Tracy, let me rephrase it to you. No matter how old you get,
You are the little.
older.
You are older than me by what? A couple of months.
It doesn't matter. He is the big brother.
Okay.
That's true.
Don't sit there and let her lie like that.
Take your ass to bed. What is wrong with you? Why are you up? Watch these videos of the week. Don't get married. Don't ever get married. It's not worth it.
I ain't say that. Marlon said that
But
shit.
y'all dudes shelter me. It get on my nerve. Anna doesn't do it. But them other two, them other two
I
do it. I'm
really-
like, stop it. I'm not 5. I'm not 5.
Okay, whatever.
I do believe that, Tracy is
The realization
pretty
is
much an adult.
out of love.
Could you say, wait a minute, Anna, repeat what you just said. Anna, repeat what you just said.
Tracy is very much an adult.
That's all I'm saying right there.
I'm an older adult.
But
Very well.
this isn't. This calls himself my older brother. How you gonna be older than me?
I don't be getting at you like that. Mine 9 times out of 10, I'm with Anna, sitting there saying that you are who you are and just
Well,
stand in
that
it.
lightning gonna strike you so badly, and I want to be far
Nah,
away from it.
I ain't
You're
scared
my
of lightning.
little sister.
Whatever.
How the heck I'm gonna be your little sister and I'm 6 years older than you?
Because it's not about chronological, it's about how we interact. So if you want to call me an overprotective little brother, I don't care. I don't, whatever. But Marlon is still like the big brother of the group, and he's gonna be who he is. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the ways that he shows
stop agreeing with them.
Because it's true.
It's
You have been doing this show for 3
I will
years.
never lie to you.
We have done this show for 3
It get on my
years.
nerves.
We've
I'm like,
gone
I'm not
already
5.
halfway through the 3rd year, and we're going on the 4th year.
And that's why I try to give it to you straight.
I am the protector. I know it irritates you. I know it frustrates you. I know it aggravates you. But it's been 3 years. I'm not.
And it's part of what makes him smile when you get irritated.
Yeah, because he's doing it to make me mad.
He's a big brother in a lot of ways.
The thing about it is, do you not think I don't understand when Tracy goes out of her way to piss me off?
I don't do that. I'm a sweet, kind, and chill person.
She goes out of her way to piss me off. She did it last week with Connor or Connie or whatever.
Because you left, people put extra letters in there. That was just wide open. I was like, I got it. Because if I don't.
That's what I'm saying. You are the.
But I have never treated you like a child. Like, Marlon, now listen to what Tracy is saying.
Okay, Tracy, the next time I'm just going to have a strip on the next show. I ain't going to warn you for. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding.
And then I love when y'all curse. Tracy, sorry. What? I ain't got to really do that.
Because they're really trying to show you respect, Tracy.
I'm about to say, that's a sign of respect.
This really, it's not meant at all as you're a little girl. It's just with respect to how we know you like to communicate.
It's not our way.
We drop the F-bomb a lot. And, sometimes we just want to.
And sometimes they do it on my channel.
And I'm the oldest.
That's because I have bad habits. And there's certain words that aren't really curse words to me. So they come out before I can catch them. And then I'm like, ooh.
Well, this is Mickey's whole.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Mickey's whole mission in life.
The social.
Yes, Mickey, you're the aunt.
You're the aunt. You're the oldest aunt.
Yep.
And trust me, I do fear you because you're crazy. My parents were old school farmers in Italy. As a girl, I was not permitted to do anything. Thank goodness I had a brother 2 years older who was my parent, who would let me out with because he would protect me. I have an aunt God rest her soul. She died a while ago. She never laid a hand on me. I don't honestly, if I try to think deep in my heart, I don't think she ever raised her voice to me. But it was something in her that she would sit there and say, somebody would come up to me while we was at church and she was there, and she would say, and the lady would be nice and then, oh, what's your name? What? Oh, you so cute. What's your name? And I would look up at my aunt, waiting for her to give me permission to talk. And I would look up, look down at me and go,
I can see that.
Marlon.
Well, that's what little kids do.
How old are you?
Yeah, little kids do that.
Like
my kids.
But when I look back at my life, she never did anything to me. She never yelled at me.
No, that wasn't
the stuff. It was just.
I mean, I can't speak for how you interpreted it, but the way I interpret that is depending on your age. Now, if you were 14 doing that, that's different. But if you was like 6, 7 years old, that's a sign of respect because you're deferring to her to say, "Hey, is this a safe adult?" Right? This person's in my face talking about ooh, blah 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 ooga booga, and I don't talk to strangers. I'm gonna look up at you because you're my protector. Is this person somebody I'm supposed to respond to? Oh, okay. I'm 7.
Introduced me to drinking, smoking weed, and my first boyfriend. That's a brother. Yikes. That's a good brother. This probably said something like, these damn Frosted Flakes are not as good as episode where you all rate the cereal, but they probably did do that. Anyway, we gotta move on because
y'all been better, but boy, in the beginning, I'm like, if they don't stop cussing on my platform, I'm like,
we did stop cussing on your platform.
I said y'all did. I said I gave y'all full credit.
Sometimes I slip.
She said in the beginning. Yeah,
I'll be trying not to.
Y'all did. Y'all done a lot better, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move on before we get into Monday. I honestly think this.
Are we not there? I think we're there.
It's Sunday.
I think,
you said Monday, right?
No,
okay.
Monday.
Okay, gotcha.
I think this lady is trolling. I'm just gonna let you know. I think the lady is trolling. If she's not trolling, God bless us all.
I mentioned in my last video that I went clothes shopping for my children, and a lot of people are shocked to hear that I have children, considering I sued my parents for having me without my permission. But I just want to make a couple of things clear here. So my parents that I sued, they contributed to, conceiving me, and my mother that raised me, she gave birth to me. And that's why I sued them, because I did not consent to being here. Like, I was unaware that I was going to have to grow up and get a job to support myself. And I just didn't consent to that. They didn't try to contact me in any way before I was born to see if I actually wanted to be here. And that's why I sued them. Now, it's different. Like, I know I've said it's like unethical to have children before, but it's different when you adopt, because it's not my fault that they're here. I'm just trying to be a good person and like help them out. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you are pregnant right now, you need to hire a psychic medium and ask your child if they actually want to be here. But keep in mind, if they don't, you need to terminate. Otherwise, they will sue you, because I'm making that my life mission, to teach children to sue their parents so they don't have to work. But yes, that I do have children, but I adopted them. So I had them in like an ethical way.
Somewhere that I'm missing. It's like somewhere in there, and I'm just like totally missing.
That is some Gen Z shit.
For
Because I've heard.
Oh my god!
I've heard it before. I've
You
heard
gonna
this
sue your
not
parents?
to the extent that this lady just went. Like, she was obviously just doing that. What's that word? The thing that they do when they're picking that stuff.
I think she was trolling. I think she is trolling.
Like the Daily Show does that type of humor, you know. But anyway, I have heard that logic before, where they're like, "Well, I don't even like this adulting thing. Then my parents never asked me for my permission to be here. I didn't ask to be here." Like when you tell them to do something and they say, "Well, I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be born." Yeah, you know what? None of us did. So, let's keep it going.
You didn't even try to contact her.
Hire a medium.
Hire a medium.
Who knows gonna do that? See, I'm gonna get
Hey,
Hey,
Bob, I
baby.
told her she had to put this in here. You didn't even try to contact her. How? She said, hire a medium.
Hire a medium.
He drugs, you idiot.
And then she seamlessly intertwined like an advocation for
abortion. She's just like Terminator. Huh? What?
Well, she went from adoption to abortion. Yeah, that was like, wow.
Are you asking the child or the fetus if it wants to be aborted? I mean, are you having that conversation? Did that conversation
She's the
happen?
same type of person in the if she did have a child, she'd be the one mad at the nurse for calling her child a specific gender, even though you can clearly see that the child is a specific gender.
I had a video of that. It was a parody. You know, they was acting it out, but it
Parody,
was so
that's
funny.
the one. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was a parody of it where the guy was with, "Oh, you have, well, congratulations, you gave birth to a beautiful baby girl."
You can tell their sex.
How dare you call her a girl? She hasn't made the decision to call herself a girl.
You just said she.
How dare you sit here and try to put labels on you? How dare you put labels on it? Them have the you know. So yeah. See, I'm sorry, even I slip up because I'm like, I don't even know how to make this BS sound like.
Look, I'm not a perfect ally. I done told y'all I'm not a perfect ally.
I know I'm not.
I ain't never gonna be a perfect ally. I don't care as much as you care because it's your life, not mine. I will be sensitive and supporting, but I ain't with the bullshit, okay? If you fussing at me about a newborn baby not choosing its gender yet, you have gone too far. I need you to come on back a little bit because you're not going to have a child, even to my knowledge. I could be wrong because this is part of that false flag that these conservatives are using right now about the gender affirming care for transgender children. And I'm like, very, very rare cases are there people under the age of 18 being permitted to even go through these things. So you're like demonizing an entire group over 50 people.
I would say less than 50. I wouldn't even think 50.
I'm just rounding this 50 because it's a big country and there's a lot of people.
50 over thousands and thousands of people. So you're still
the transgender community ain't but maybe like 20 grand out there. But my point is there's not enough of them that are going through any form of gender affirming care other than perhaps psychological before that they are heading into their adulthood. Now, towards the very tail end, they may begin some of the medications that help with their hormones, but that still ain't surgery. What you mad about is surgery. So why are you sitting here demonizing and acting like they're doing gender reaffirming care on 5-year-olds? If there's any child at 5-year-old who's having something done where they're having to do reconstructive surgery on their genitalia, it's because it was needed. So it's all these false flags. But I'm sorry, if I come to the hospital and baby 13-hour-old and I say, "Hey, that's your baby 13-hour," and they say, "Yeah," I say, "She's beautiful. How dare you? I have not assigned a gender to her or it or they, or I have not assigned a gender to them." And I'm already confused because I struggle with the
I'm
they,
looking
them.
at a little girl.
Because
That's what I'm looking
the they them throw me off because I was always taught plural. So if they is and them is plural and You're saying they're non-binary, so that's why they
No
use they,
longer.
them. Well, okay, they're still one person. So
One
they, them still
person.
throws me off, but I know you needed a pronoun so that you're not stuck always arguing over she, him. I
Yep.
get
I
it.
get it, but I
But
mean,
it confuses the hell out of me in general
yeah,
conversation.
but this
I'm like
lady said
101,
terminate.
not
She
AP.
went from adoption to abort, and she did it with a straight
Oh,
face, just like
Yep.
that face
I
didn't
think she
change.
was trolled.
That
I
face
really
didn't
Trolling.
trolled.
change.
But Theus, you did
Yeah,
remind
she
me
was out there.
when I said that I was going to do it a second hour. And to all my white allies out there, again, I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you very much. We are in a war, and I appreciate you. What I need you to do is not. I need you to learn some things before you fight for us, because you're making everybody look crazy. There's a story out
I don't want
there.
you to fight for me, no way. Fight with me. Don't fight for me. I
Fight
ain't your
with me.
child.
You know what
Go
I mean. Oh, good God, here you go.
I'm messing with you,
Anyway,
dog.
the point is, there's a story out there where there was a professor that was explaining the apartheid in Africa and how it was affecting the black people in Africa and what they had to go through. And one of the college students jumped up and go, I don't think you need to say black. I think you need to say African American.
But they not.
And and the professor was like,
They not
well,
American.
ma'am, I can't call them African American because I'm talking about black
Africans.
people in Africa who's going through the apartheid in Africa. So that's why. And he continued on, and the lady was like, yeah, but I really think you need to just call them African American. Okay, that's one story. The other story is the guy that was describing what his outfit was going to be over the weekend. He was saying, I'm going to put some jeans on and probably put on a black shirt. I don't like you calling it black. You need to call it African American. And the guy was like,
what?
I don't think I need to call it African American.
It's a shirt.
She said, I don't think you need to call it a black shirt because I think you called it a black shirt sound racist. You should use African American. And he was like, I'm not describing a person, I'm describing a color. And I even stopped the video to go, yeah, because if you describe the shirt as African American, that's racist. Do not ever call a shirt African American.
What if it has the
no,
no, not a picture of somebody. Nope.
Call it that shirt. We ain't gonna go what ifs on this every time. What if? No, we're not doing that. What if? What if they
I'm
have
just saying
Malcolm X on it? It's not no. Don't do that.
You have a shirt with an African American on it.
When I was at IHOP and some white colonizers from South Africa, I think they call them Afrikaners, were sitting there, and I overheard them, and they were like, they told the waitress, well, you should call me African American because I'm from Africa and now I'm in America. And I'm like, let your hat is because it ain't necessary for me to get involved here. But on a technicality, you have African citizenship or had African citizenship, born in Africa, moved to America. I guess you got citizenship here now. So yes, on a technical level, you are an African American by some weird descriptor. But the thing that you must understand to the wider audience out there, words have many meanings, right? Especially when you speak English. So when you hear people say black, you need to understand what's the context of us saying black. Because black can mean African American, American descendant of slavery, right? That could be black. Black could also be the whole diaspora. That's any and everybody with some melanin that emanated from Africa. So that's your South Americans, that's your Islanders, we black, right? But big black and community black, two different things. One of the reasons why we had to be called African Americans, short history lesson, because a bunch of assholes kidnapped our family and sold us like we were beasts of burden and treated us worse than their family dog and stole our whole identities from us so that the best we can do is say we from Africa.
Don't know
We
where.
can't even pick a country. Like if we do a blood test, like people who went out there, I always think it's the silliest thing for black folk who go get that 21andMe or whatever that thing is.
23andMe.
And they 23andMe and they try to go all the way back. I'm like, look, this thing is only going to be accurate up to slavery. Maybe. 'Cause
Maybe
they keep records
300,
like that.
maybe 300 years. You're lucky if you can
Right.
accurately get 500.
You're lucky if you can get past 1910. Okay, let's just be real, black folk. That's how you know it's true because even after slavery,
paper
even after
trail.
slavery,
Yes.
they did not keep records for many of us who were born at home, which means we never went through the system. We got a social security card eventually, but that was an approximation of when we were born. So it's still, you are dicey once you get back there, right? It's just the reality of the situation.
The more
But
the
we call
more
us
the
the
years,
African Americans because we're
years
from
go
Africa.
on, the more years that go on, because I did mine, I realized that my ancestors started off white, like they were white. We
They
ended
started
up,
out.
yeah.
Wait,
yes,
what?
Yes, I'm
But
listen to me.
Okay.
Do we need to have
The
a biology
last
lesson,
name,
Marlon?
the last name of Clyburn was white. We wowed
Slave owners.
Oh,
yes, it's the slave
okay.
owners. We wowed up black.
But how do you
So
wind
No,
up black,
sir.
Marlon?
No,
How do you
sir.
wind up black?
No, sir.
let
We
me
need
put
to
it
talk
to you.
biology,
We
brother.
all start
Yeah,
out.
Marlon.
The
Yeah, we all
What?
No,
started out
What he's
black.
talking about
Okay.
is how his family got the name Clyburn.
I'm
Just
not
like
saying
I
my family got
understand
the name
that. I am
Robinson because of the
now.
slave owners.
Yes, yeah.
the
Yeah, that's
Marlon
what
talking
I'm
about
getting. I'm with
I'm
you,
Marlon
talking
Diz.
talking
about
about his family was a bunch of white
Clyburn
folk, and all of a
name.
sudden they
I'm not
magically
talking about
became black.
me.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
talking
'cause
about. I'm talking about my last name, the family. I'm not
We
talking
got
okay,
about
we
from
just want to
who.
make sure we on the same page, bruh.
And did
I'm
your
like,
slave owner consider did your family slave owners consider you family, or did they consider you property?
I don't give a
Because I
rat's
know
ass.
mine gave me the last name Robinson because my family was a slave.
Is you get deeper than I want to, because I really want to go into a time machine and go back to them, to all the Clyburn families back then when they was white, and go.
Oh no, you send me back, it's gonna be a whole different experience.
yeah, but like, yeah, we ain't got to take this.
Hey, they ain't gotta do nothing. Send me back with a couple things of my choosing. And
I was gonna say.
A friend of mine who is biracial actually did come to me with her DNA results and said, I can't make any heads or tails of this. And I have some experience at looking at DNA. This was my first time reviewing African and sub-Saharan African descent. Most of the African DNA came from the Nigeria area, so it specified a
it came off the Ivory Coast.
the Ivory Coast. Thank you. That's what I was trying to remember. And so, like, I was able to give them a little bit of information. But wow, that was the first time that I saw the limitations of DNA for myself.
Yep.
You can't even narrow down a country.
You have Nigeria.
It can be a pretty humbling experience when
Nigeria,
you
have
really go and look
Egypt,
at it.
You have
you like, we really messed y'all people up.
But
We did.
y'all need to forget about that. We off that.
We did, and we have many atrocities to repair.
They're not going to.
But see, here's the funny thing, Anna, if this helps at all. And,
Mm.
you know, it's important to understand history and understand the path that our people took to get to here. But when I talk about redress, when I talk about restorative justice, I don't talk about bloodlines in that way. You know what I mean? It's like, even if I could find the Robinsons that enslaved my people, they were operating within a system that was still bigger than they themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I condemn them
I get
for
that.
the fact that you were slave traders, you were human traffickers, you are scum of the
Mhm.
earth, and I hope that if there's a hell, you're burning in it, right? But my grievance
Mhm.
is against the country.
Oh yeah.
Because the country is the one that fomented the structure, the system, and all the things that have followed behind it. So, like,
Mhm.
a lot of times when, you know, I have some of these really good discussions with white people, they get, sometimes in the beginning, and it's natural, they get stuck in the sadness and the regret and things like that. But I'm like, that's cool. I had to go through anger, so it makes sense that you're gonna go through some, you know, saying regret or whatnot. But the
Mhm.
most important thing is, how do we start to try to make things better?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
This is
That's
not
why I said
personalized, and that's
repair.
really hard for people sometimes.
And and let me throw this back into. Let me throw this out. But in order for things to get better, you have to accept that things are wrong. And at this point in time in America, you just
Things are
don't
wrong.
want to admit that. You
Mm.
don't want to admit the atrocities. You don't want to admit slavery. You pretty much said that's a as one person said, a necessary evil. Quote unquote, but you did call it an unnecessary evil. You don't want to even talk about, like Parker said
Wait,
earlier,
unnecessary evil?
he literally called it a necessary. I'm sorry,
No, I've been
Necessary
told it
evil.
was a necessary. They
I've
physically had
heard
to
it was
pull
a
me off this white
necessary.
boy in college.
They said
I
Okay.
was on a trip
it was a
to the
necessary.
Jefferson, whatever, Carter Center, and the dude said in the van while we traveling to Atlanta, well,
Mhm.
it was a necessary evil. Motherfucker, I will throw you out this car rolling. You know what I'm saying?
You
But that's the
ignore.
training that some people are getting.
But let's
Yeah.
look at the other necessary evils. The Japanese internment camps was a necessary evil. You did not know who the enemy was. So instead of trying to do your job, basically, you decided we're taking up everybody.
Which is weird with
And gave
America.
a small form of
If you
reparations
really
after.
want to make things better, you have to accept that things were bad. And at
Mhm.
this point in time in America, you're not willing to accept that. Why do you think they're eliminating books? Why do you think they're trying to erase history? They're doing it for a certain reason, because they don't
Because they
want
don't want to look at
accept that America is not the strawberries and cream country
Light of the
of
world,
the
savior of
world.
hell.
I have wanted to ask, and actually, this is a really perfect chance. There are some times when I really just want to say, I'm sorry. How does that come across?
It depends.
It depends on the person. Yeah, I
So,
agree with you. It
so with
depends on the
this
person.
group, when you say I'm sorry, you've already said it a few times, or you know, so it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't mean much because I don't hold you accountable for none of it. So it's like, it was good in the beginning when you were saying I'm sorry, because like you were coming to an understanding of things that you may not have been all that familiar with. But now you've always been open, you've always been here to learn, you always ask questions and things like that. So we know your heart. So when you say I'm sorry now, it's just an expression of some, you know, human empathy. You know,
Yeah.
now somebody else might say I'm sorry, and I'm like, well, that's good.
What you
But
gonna
are
do
you
about it?
anti-racist?
It literally depends on your
You
attitude.
know that I have been out there,
Yeah, it
and
literally depends on the person, Anna. If you say you're sorry, I know that you're not the person, and I'll give
it's
you.
not a responsibility thing. It is.
It's not a responsibility thing because I will look at you, and Anna can say, "I'm sorry." Other white people can say, "I'm sorry," but. And those are the people that I'm like, you're not sorry. I'm sorry, but little Tommy don't need to learn this history. I'm sorry that you went through this, but they don't need to know this history. I'm sorry.
Apology
And especially the funny thing about I'm sorry that your ancestors went through this. Is you really sorry, or is you really just trying to make sure that you feel better going to bed at night? If you
it could be
I'm
both.
sorry that your ancestors. That's.
It could be both.
I
But I
might
got a
have.
problem with this whole discussion.
I don't know because I have a
Do
feeling
you?
that when
I
you say
do.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if you're saying I'm sorry of the atrocities that you feel and your ancestors feel. Or are you saying I'm sorry, but I have to protect my own now?
Or Marlon, may I address my grievance with this whole discussion? Because Tim Scott and Kamala Harris said there's no racism in America. And dang on it,
true.
I think that we should take them seriously. Because what Tim Scott did at his failed presidential campaign launch, he brought up his black mother and some random white woman that says, "See, America, we are together." And if we could just clap on and hold our hands to that.
You know how bad it is when you say and some random white people. You know how
he did. He literally picked out a random. He literally
and
picked
I said this
out.
before last week, and I'm going to say it again.
Watch
For
this.
anybody that's listening, please do not misconstrue outlier for proof.
Thank you. That's what he was
Outliers
doing.
are outliers. That's a once in a lifetime or once in a blue moon or however you want to say it. In this retrospect, once every other president, he doing a video type of situation. It's an outlier.
Yeah, but he brought up his black mother and a random with his son. He literally picked out random white lady out the audience and said, "Look, racism doesn't exist anymore." I didn't even know this because apparently I must have missed something. I was on this whole train and I just missed it.
What I say, certain people do fight beyond. But I've said this, and me and Thiz has always fought about this, but I can't change it. I really can't. Certain people overachieve. Black people overcome.
We sure do.
We start at the bottom, and when we overcome obstacles that a lot of races ain't got to go through to get to the same level as people who don't have to go over those same obstacles. Please do not think, oh my goodness, if they can do it, everybody can do it.
But
no,
Marlon,
that's not how that works.
Tim Scott said racism doesn't exist anymore. That's what he said.
Yes,
he said it's over.
I don't know
because he's a token and he's.
We know what he is.
Thing about Tim Scott, but one, he overcame, and two, the most important thing, what did you sell to overcome? So it's real easy for you to say, yeah, there's no racism in it when I'm gonna pretend that.
And then all the stuff he said, I'm like, dude, that's racist. You were a victim of racism. What are you talking about?
He has clearly outlined where he has been a victim of racism since he's been in office. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. I think, and this is going to be, I think I've said this before, but I'm not sure. I think that one thing, and I'm talking to the black folk out there, some of y'all might not like this, but expectations. Have you stopped and really thought through what your expectations are, what you're really expecting of someone, what you're really asking for? Or are you responding out of your emotions and impulse? Because what some of the things that I hear people demand of the white community is not within human behavior.
Yep,
Like,
acceptance.
how do you expect someone outside of your lived experience to care as much about your lived experience as you do? That's unfair. They can't get there. What you're actually asking for is justice and fairness. Those are two things that people can get to without ever fully accepting everything that you're saying or everything that you've gone through. See what I'm saying? Like, what is it you really want? Do you want white America to be different than what white America is? Like, to fundamentally, to take some of the positions that some of us put out there, for them to do that, they would have to reject themselves. Now, are you able to reject yourself? I seriously doubt it. So what we have to do, if we're serious about accomplishing certain things, now, some folks you just need to fight. Screw trying to convince them or find a kumbaya. No. Some folks, you got to finish them off because they would finish you off in a heartbeat. But that's a very small percentage of people. You need to focus more on, if you're interested in actually moving the goal, moving the ball down the field, so to say. What is it you want? See, that's been missing in so many discussions. Put it on paper. What the hell do you want? Like we say, well, they gave the LGBTQ communities, they had specific demands.
We want to marry.
And put people in place. And they got some stuff. We've had specific demands. They put some stuff in place, and we got those. We still ain't getting what we supposed to have. They still trying to take everything back they ever did. But if you understand what you're up against, that's what white America has always done. They did it to the Native Americans. They did it to the Japanese. They did it to the Guam people. They did it. You name it. America breaks every treaty it's ever signed.
Yep.
So we have to continue to fight, but fight intelligently, fight with clear things that they can actually try to meet, as opposed to, I need you to deny your entire existence and admit to me that you're a devil. Who the hell gonna do that?
Don't know, and probably ain't gonna happen.
All right, y'all, let's move on because
oh, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, man.
So sorry.
It's 12:34. Do you know where your children are?
Look, unlike their daddy, probably in bed. They're smarter than me. So, when your significant other, because this is a woman, but when your significant other asks you to inspire them to do something, don't do it.
All right, babe, you coming to the gym today?
Probably not. I'm not really feeling inspired to go.
You want me to inspire you?
Yeah, say something.
Get your fat ass.
And there was a joke in there.
You kept saying expire, so I thought it was gonna be something else.
Yeah, me too.
So it's
inspire. Is what you meant.
What he did was not inspirational. What he did was motivational, and it didn't work out.
No.
But sometimes you need that harsh.
No.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because you get lazy. That's what I mean. I need somebody to say, "Hey, fat, so get off the couch and move."
No. That's when you.
I would fight somebody if they ever said that.
That's what I need. That may not be what you need, but that's what I need.
You gotta go
I need
with
somebody
gentle
to
prodding.
say
Like, hey, baby.
Sometimes gentle prodding don't work.
We need to go to the store. Let's buy us some new shoes. We can start walking or something together because we got to do something about our weight. Us, right? Still gonna piss her off. Still gonna insult her, but you putting you in it too, because that way you're robbing her of the ability to say, "Well, you done got big too." Right? What he did got him killed, but
Yeah, and that's funny. Why she killed him?
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not funny because it's stupid and it was
I
cruel
mean, it's a
and it was
parody. I
dumb.
get it.
Yeah, but
A
yeah.
lot of parodies I do not find funny.
But what I do wonder though is why is it? And okay, this is not going to be very PC. Why do folk, when you know you're overweight, like I'm overweight, I used to be not overweight, I now am overweight. I can look at myself and say, hey, Theus, you need to lose some pounds. Why is it offensive to say you are overweight?
That's what I want to know. I would never get mad at somebody. I'd be like, "Yep, that's what I am."
I can answer that question.
I know context matters, but
no, it is not in context. I know the answer to this because there's a big difference in society. In this society, there is a difference between being overweight and being unhealthy. And unfortunately, in this society,
I didn't say you were unhealthy.
No, I didn't nobody say you was unhealthy.
Let me finish. I said in this society, we combine being overweight as being unhealthy.
But you could
So
be
when
skinny
you
and
say
still
somebody is overweight, you automatically think and they're unhealthy, not they're overweight. There are some people who could live with being overweight. They have no issue with it. You have people who are not overweight who have so many doggone issue with them, it ain't funny. You have some people who they deem overweight who have no issues with them. But when you see somebody who's overweight, you automatically think, oh, you need to get into shape and everything. And all of a sudden, the issues that you don't have to begin with will get better. So, yeah, that's why people will go, stop trying to tell me you're overweight when your little skinny ass has been in the damn hospital a lot more times than I have.
I get it. I get it. That's true. That's true. But the fact is, none of that takes away from the fact if you're fat. It's like if somebody's skinny, they still skinny. I mean, now what you decide to add to it, right? Where now just because you fat, that means you unhealthy, or just because you skinny means that you are perfect. You know, skinny people a lot of times anorexic or anemic, or they got a gland issue. Just like a person who's fat may have a thyroid or a glandular issue. He ain't got nothing to do with their diet. It's just the way their body reacts to everything, right?
Yeah, but
medication, if they're on steroids, boom, you got that issue. But at the end of the day,
some of us,
your BMI, you are fat. I mean, it's okay. Rock being fat.
Some of
like,
us
fuck
have
you, skinny
these.
person.
But here's my problem with it is
it's been hurled so much as an insult that there are a lot of people that cringe at the very word.
But the
I
deal
don't
with
because
it
I get
is,
to
the
I
deal with
get
it
what
is,
y'all
why
saying,
the
but
hell do I need you to point out that I'm fat? I know I'm fat. I don't need you to.
No,
point
I
out
mean
that
you
I'm
could
fat.
be like in a serious interaction with someone, and they call you ugly. They say whatever. It could just be one of them things, like a heated conversation when y'all going back and forth.
Yeah.
But it's a low blow. Call that person fat.
No,
that's a low blow.
It may be a low blow.
Social custom would dictate you went an extra level when you called that part out.
That could be an individual thing because I've seen some people who go off the deep rail being called ugly. Sorry,
they sure do.
That's how you. If you
when they get what?
They get
being
real
called
mad.
ugly. You have some people who grew up hearing that word so many doggone times that they're tired of it now, and we're gonna fight. Not to say that it's right, but yeah, that's a grown up thing. You hear,
but you know, ugly.
Oh hell,
is debatable.
Mm-hmm.
It always has been.
Being overweight
I
is not though. If you're overweight, if your body mass index is too much, it's too
certain
much.
words. Well, certain terms. I'm right because we're playing with words here. So being overweight is also debatable, right? Because are you adjusting for cultural differences? Like a black person with a certain body type gonna carry their weight different than like a Filipino male of the same age, right? It just, we are built different. Our bodies do, our muscle tone, everything is built different, right? So overweight can be debatable, but I look at my size and I can grab some of me that wasn't there before.
Thank you. Too big.
That's fat.
You
know, but
calling
the
yourself
social side, like
whatever.
you said, right? But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if somebody said, "Yo, Thiz, man, you getting a little fat," I'd be like, "Yep." But that's me though. That's not the part that I've had to wrestle with as an individual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But but the point I would like to make, which I've made before, is what you've wrestled with as an individual is not society's problem.
Yeah.
So you can be insulted, you can be upset. Like if people question my intelligence, it pisses me off. Right? But that's my little thing, right? That's still my problem. You said Thiz, you stupid. All right. I gotta decide how angry am I gonna get with you because you just called me stupid. Because at the end of the day, this ain't society's problem. Until I do something dumb, and now everybody's problem.
I mean, yeah, it's all how you say it. You could say, now, Tracy, you probably need to put that fork down. And I just keep listening and listening. But I'm more likely to listen to, hey, Tracy, girl, you know you can't fit into that dress you really like. Why don't you stop? I'm more likely to respond to the abrupt because it's getting my attention.
Oh, okay. Because I know there ain't no way in hell I would have told my wife.
That
like I know rules.
Personal boundaries. They're different for everyone.
I can
Thank
respond
you.
to the
Personal boundaries.
abrupt.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
can
That-
respond
that-
to the
yeah.
abrupt because I'm like, oh yeah, you know they right. I mean, I'm gonna still eat this slice of cake that's next to me. I mean, that's not gonna stop me per se, but I'm just saying
now I
in
want
general.
cake. Thanks, Tracy.
Sorry, but it's just sitting right here.
Who brought up cake?
It's right here.
Oh my gosh, you actually have cake.
Yes, I actually do
I
have
don't even
cake.
really, and see, I don't even really like cake, but for some reason, I've been wanting some cake.
You want some?
I don't do sweet, so it don't matter to me.
I do sweet, salt, starches.
really,
I'm on the seafood diet. I seafood, I eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, I never used to be one for sweets, but and I'm still not big on sweets, but sometimes, man.
All right, we got to move to the next video so we can get the hell out of here. There was another issue at a school somewhere, mass booking.
I'm Will Danger with breaking not real news, standing outside Doogie Howser Middle School where tragedy has unfolded. Earlier this morning, an unidentified person entered the school with an arsenal of books that left 4 children trans and another 12 students and faculty hospitalized from woke-related trauma. The reader was armed with novels like This Book is Gay, Genderqueer, and The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. One faculty member had this to say about the mass reading. It was pure chaos. I was left contemplating how gender norms and racism have played a role in shaping American history and society. I'm very uncomfortable. In response, the National Book Association has released a statement offering their thoughts and prayers while at the same time doubling down that, quote, books don't queer people. Still, a community is left wondering, when will the wokeness end?
I like it. I dig it.
Now that was funny.
But the sad thing is, the people we're dealing with, I'm not going to insult their intelligence, but let's just say they're not going to get the joke.
No, they be the ones that would take that seriously.
We need to stop anti-wokeness. That's why I'm launching my presidential bid on Twitter space. Where did you go? Where you go? Where'd you go?
And they know they don't have anything but a political talking point. And so when you ask them, what definition of woke are we using, they never answer.
Hold that thought. I don't like the word wokeness. Hold on, Hannah. I don't like the word wokeness. That word has been used too much, and the majority of the people that use it don't even know the definition of it. Quote Donald Trump.
Yeah, he did say that.
Well,
Every once in a while, he says something. That's why I tell people, man, and I know nobody agrees with me on this panel. Donald Trump is not dumb.
Ooh, this cake is good.
no, I agree with you. Yeah.
This is good cake. Come on, wait a minute.
You have to have a certain amount of brain cells to kind of be the mob boss you
I'm
are.
not gonna do that to you, please.
Well, I'll tell people in a minute.
No, because
Could
the deal
you
is,
do
but
what
the deal
Donald
is
Trump
a
does?
little serious.
No.
Bit. Donald Trump is a branding wizard, and he knows what
You
branding
gotta give him
is,
props
and
for that.
he
He
knows Ron
is.
DeSantis is
Yep.
using woke as a branding tool. So what's the best way to break that bond is to make wokeness not a very good branding tool. So
Wokeness.
try to break Ron DeSantis from the branding that made him
Which
just
is
put him
infamous,
smart.
if I can say it, but famous for what he uses. Woke is a term that's used to replace the word that you really want to use. You could take any sentence and put the
socially
word
aware.
woke in it, but if you replace the
Black.
word woke with black,
Yeah, that's
you
another one.
replace the word woke with
Or gay.
LGBTQ, you can replace
Mhm.
the word woke with any other minority, and it means the exact same thing. He don't have the time because he's a lazy bastard, so he uses the word woke. It is a triggering
Oh,
word.
he knows
When
exactly
says
what
the
he's
word
doing.
woke out there, people know exactly who he's talking about, depending on what he was talking about beforehand before he said the word woke.
He knows
You know what I
exactly what
find
he's doing.
entertaining about all this whole thing, especially the part about the cross-dressing situation, where they're like, you know, the people who are cross-dressing, reading books. What is so hilarious to me about this is how fake the whole scandal is.
Mhm.
We have had men dress up as women to do jokes and skits since the beginning of comedy. Like, this has always been happening. Right?
Literally, William Shakespeare was
fun.
doing it. Like,
yeah,
Shakespeare, all of his actors were men. Okay,
you couldn't be a woman in that
in
industry.
the I forget what it's called, but it's in Japan, and I forget what type of theater it's called. Women aren't allowed.
I'm talking about Shakespeare. All of his actors were men.
All of Shakespeare.
The characters were women, but they were men.
Right.
Shakespeare at that
But-
time.
But no, they were using women back then.
They could have read
No.
women if they were acting.
Tracy,
Yeah, that was not allowed.
Shakespeare things, it was so misogynistic in Shakespeare time, they would not allow women in his plays. They
Yeah,
would
it's
have
very
women
true,
characters,
Tracy.
but they would not have women.
It was culturally
and those
unacceptable.
women characters.
A theater junkie like me got to know this. But
Yeah.
keep on going.
Yes, it's
But what I find hilarious about it is this is how low on brain cells that they're using. They got more brain cells than what they're using. But they know they don't need to, so they don't bother. They just want the emotion. They want the fix, right? They're just chasing that endorphin rush. But cross-dressing, transvestite, not the same thing as transsexual, transgender.
I got a clarification.
Different thing. But they are using anything out of the quote-unquote norm as a stand-in for whatever they don't like. So they don't like black people. So let's go after black history. Let's go after diversity, inclusion, or whatever the words are. You don't like members of the queer community. Okay, so we're going to go after transvestites, right? It's always a stand-in for what you really, really don't want to deal with, right? And it's so sad and pathetic.
Yeah, because here's a woman. Yep, okay. Yep, now I'm getting clarification.
What?
This is what I thought it was. Women weren't used during Shakespeare's time, but in certain areas, like around Europe, women were used. Okay, that's where I was like, well, wait a minute. I know women were in plays.
But in Europe, which is where this comes from,
No, this is saying women were used in other European countries, but not in
England.
Not in England for some odd reason. Because this woman is clearly dressed like a man. And one of the
That's you
Yeah,
know
this is really interesting.
the main issue of
But there's a
Shakespeare is that
Japanese theory of truth that you can't, even to this day, you can't be a woman. I mean, yeah, they won't let women in plays.
Shakespeare very purposefully wrote so that you could interpret these words to a girl or to a boy. There
yeah.
was a lot of times where he talked about his love for a younger boy. And I mean, look at his sonnets. Look at his. Did you see the movie? I
Oh,
think
I
it
don't do
was
the
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. I only do the comedies. The dramas, I'm off of that
No,
mess.
no. Shakespeare in Love.
Nope. It has Shakespeare in the title. Nope.
Oh wow.
I'm like, nope.
It showed really well, though.
Okay.
It took 3 Shakespeare novels and interwove them into one story. But it
Okay.
was showing how a girl had to pretend that she was a man in order to get into a play troupe.
I mean, that's
So,
what what's the Shakespeare play with Orlando, and he doesn't know whether she's. Oh, I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
Much Ado About Nothing. I
Much
don't know.
Ado About
Okay, yeah,
Nothing.
I got it. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm
Well,
gonna know this one.
I like that.
all
I like that
those.
play. That's a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the type of theater I'm talking about is called kabuki.
Kabuki theater.
Yeah.
And then there's another type
How you
called
doing, Marlon?
origata.
Barely holding on.
Origata.
We're almost on hour
ONNGTA.
4,
Yeah,
guys.
it was a female role, but a male played it. Orgata.
Mm-hmm.
And now you know,
everybody.
and no one's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you so much for giving me enough content to last me for another week until last week. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. I'll be cutting off by this time anyway. So
We were thinking only of you, Marlon.
Yeah, but it's kabuki theater.
Sure you were.
And now we know, and no one's half the battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
Thank you, Tracy.
All right, last video of the night. I'm not even gonna take anybody down because it's real short, but some of y'all women are really, really rude.
Ladies, if you're in the shower with a man and he wants to do something nice like wash your back, just say thank you. There's no need for all of this, who are you and how did you get in my house bullshit. Okay, there's no need to be fucking rude.
No,
It's a joke somewhere in there, and I ain't getting it again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretty much ask if I don't know you, how did you get here? That's probably only after breaking you upside the head. Yeah, that's pretty much gonna be one of the questions I ask.
I know, Marlon. It's a joke.
It's a
But it's
joke.
rape humor, so it really doesn't land well.
No.
We be trying. We sorry, Marlon.
You need to get more sophisticated with the
Wilkins
humor.
Coffee is where you want to stay. That lane of humor.
Oh my God! You want
Oh
somebody?
my God, that was so
it's okay. Okay, now we got to take it seriously. Okay.
No.
I don't see
Tracy.
why you didn't think that was just great.
Tracy, tell everybody where they can find you. You still doing it wrong.
Is it this? Oh, okay.
Okay.
You can find all my videos at TracyMediaLLC.com. And join me this Tuesday. I got an interview. Oh, I'm so happy.
This.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't know when I'm gonna make another video for real, cause I'll be thinking about it and then I'll be like, nah, I don't really feel like it. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Look, check me out over here. You know, I'll be around here. You know what I'm saying? I'll be around here. Yeah, check me out around here. Yeah.
President DeSantis. Anna.
BoreliaEtc.com. It's right in the bottom right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're LGBTQ until you come out to me as.
that is our show for tonight. I appreciate Tracy. I appreciate Theus. I appreciate Anna. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
It's a bit of quiet.
You know, y'all ready for President? Who's the fat guy from the dude from Jersey?
Chris
Christie for president.